everyone, welcome back to another commentary. I'm Captain Logan. I got Eric here.
Hello.
Eric's drinking stuff. And I got Adam Meredith.
Hey.
Hey Adam, what are we doing a commentary on today? Is it another Star Trek movie?
No, Home Alone.
What? Curveball!
Home Alone on the Range?
Oh, it's Christmas. It's not that much of a curveball. Dude, don't throw that out at Hollywood. Anything is possible. Okay, that could totally happen.
We're due for another Home Alone movie.
Well, Disney Plus already announced one. They're supposed to do a
that's
reboot.
right. They're rebooting.
Yeah.
Not a remake, a reboot. It will be a shared Home Alone universe. We will have different kids that all are alone, and then they will all cross over and be left in the same place together.
Some of them will be lost in big cities. Some of them will be stuck in houses.
And then I'll cross it over with the MCU, but Scarlett Johansson was in Home Alone 3 as the love interest. So
I've seen
really
Home Alone
Black
3,
Widow.
and I remember as a child standing by it as just as good as the first one.
I remember thinking this should not be as good as it is, and it's ridiculous that this movie is as good as it is.
But I did not know that
That doesn't make
was
it
the girl.
good. Yeah, well, if you saw it when you were a kid, but like I watched it as an adult, and I was like, wow, that is the youngest I've ever seen her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're doing Home Alone because Eric and I, years ago, were going to do this because we hadn't seen it since we were kids.
And you have rewatched it, and I still have not.
I've rewatched it now 2 or 3 times since we were going to do that video. And Adam watched it recently, too.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, I should get Adam over to do this with us. So the 3 of us are going to watch it and talk about Home Alone. So Adam and I have recently seen this, and we'll have things to talk about. And Eric is going to do this as another pseudo-blind watch because it's been a long time since you've seen it. But obviously you know this movie
I've seen
really well.
and I've seen clips here and there, like just places playing Christmas movies, so I've re-seen scenes.
Yeah.
But I have not sat down and watched this movie in a while.
I still watch this on the VHS cassette that I've had since I was a kid.
Oh, why?
I never bought the DVD. I never went.
This is completely irrelevant. What are the trailers on that VHS?
Oh my god, it's amazing. So there's a Ferngully trailer. But the best part is, because that movie had all this product placement, there was like an American Airlines commercial.
Yes, I
And
remember
then
that.
I remember
There's
that.
like this kids talking about like Diet Pepsi or Pepsi and stuff, and then it's like there are these two kids, and they're like, "It's not the clothes you wear, it's not what you drink." And this little girl comes over, and is like, "I got a Pepsi for me." And he's like,
Oh my God.
"Who knew?"
Wow.
It's amazing. I always watch
It's all
that.
flashing before my eyes again. I had
It's a
forgotten all
choice
about
of a new
that.
generation, you know.
It is.
Yeah. They don't make Pepsi very flattering in this movie, though. That's the thing. Is a lot of the product placement gets thrown up. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. So you can watch this, obviously, DVD, Blu-ray. It's currently on Disney Plus. We're going to watch it on Disney Plus. Hopefully the player
VHS.
doesn't break down. Disney Plus
Or
doesn't have the
VHS,
best
if you have
player. You watch it on VHS, yeah. Sync up. And if you sync
That's
up
one
your...
past the commercials.
That's more past.
Yeah, although one of these days we should do a VHS commentary and make everybody watch it with us with the commercials. But if you stream this with, or excuse me, if you sync this with your VHS tape, would you leave a comment and let us know? I don't know if anybody ever does that or has ever done that. So Adam is going to press play for us because the play button is across the bunker. And Adam, you get to say, everybody please press play right now, and then press play, okay? But be real loud because you're farther away from the microphone now.
All right. All right, we're getting ready here. All right, everybody press play right now.
Hey, excellent. That was great. That was great. Everybody clap for Adam.
It says
Yeah.
drum roll. It even says drum roll in the subtitles.
Because it's the Fox logo.
Yeah. Will we ever see that again?
I think we will for the sake of nostalgia.
Can we put it back on Star Wars?
I kind of hope they do. That could happen with the
I
new
forgot John Hughes directed it. Or
He
is he just
produced
produced it?
it.
Chris
Okay, the
Columbus
Guy
directed
that
it.
did the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
So, that's right. And got those because of this. Like, he started being known as, like, one of the go-to guys in Hollywood
He
for
also
kids'
produced
movies.
Jingle All the Way.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because Chris
All the
Columbus
Way.
is kind of a hack, and his production company was it 1402?
Yes, 1502.
Yeah,
Pictures.
because of course it is.
1492.
1492.
Yeah.
1402 is way too early. Right,
We're idiots. We don't know how history works with dates.
Okay, so I remember this logo and thinking that who has the house? There's a movie studio that has the house logo. I think it's the Ninja Turtles. Whoever produced.
Yes.
Who produced the
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
As a kid, I always thought they
New
were
Line?
related. Yeah,
No?
maybe.
No, because New Line
New
has
Line's
the...
the little film thing with the
Yeah.
like that.
But whatever that is, I always in my head as a kid thought those two images were related.
Was it was it FHE?
Yes,
putting out
FHE.
the,
That's who it
the
is.
videotapes. That's what it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, but I remember that.
Yes.
It's really weird.
So
This
I don't
house-
think you can put a family in a house this insanely big and not tell us what the man does for a living.
I want to know this. I want to know this. Exactly. This house is insane. I never realized as a child this is an insane house.
And they
It's
go on
all
an
brick,
elaborate
too.
vacation, the
This is
entire family.
The whole family goes with this girl who's like the daughter of these other people who are living in France.
Now, to be fair, at least the guy who owns the house is not paying for the whole trip. It's
That's
the
true.
family,
The
in
family in
France
France
that's
that
paying
pays
for the
Oh,
trip.
okay.
This house is brick. Yeah,
Well, and let's mention the outside of the house is brick. The interiors are actually shot inside of a high school.
what?
Yeah,
And some of it in the pool.
So they built a
yes,
soundstage.
they built a soundstage. They built this
They
entire
wanted to
house.
film in Chicago. Is that why?
Yes, they wanted to
Okay.
film in a different place, and the actual house they said was unfilmable inside. Like people lived here, they couldn't film inside the house.
So, well, I gotta
So
tell
all the
a funny story.
exteriors are really there.
Yes.
but
So
the
Catherine
interiors
O'Hara's hair in this movie. My mom had that haircut like that at this time.
I
when
remember
Home
a lot
Alone
of
2
women
came out-
having
A lot of
this-
women had
this
that.
When
haircut.
Home Alone 2 came out, she had her hair short. It wasn't like anything
Did your mom
planned
also
or
have that?
anything. Yeah, she had that short hair. Yeah, it wasn't anything
Women were all
planned or-
doing the same thing.
The dad looks like a guy who would have started his career
That's John Hurt.
wanting to be in like Clint Eastwood westerns,
He-
and it just didn't pan out
He
for him.
died recently.
Did
The
he?
only thing that I remember seeing him clearly in was the 1980 whatever it was Paul Schrader version of Cat People,
Interesting.
which is a very strange
Is he not in the Star
movie.
Trek episode? I assume everyone's been in the Star Trek
I don't know.
episode.
I don't
Never-
think
I don't
so.
think this
He
guy-
looks like he could have had his own sitcom or been like the straight man in a sitcom.
Is
I want
anyone
to-
in this movie in the Star Trek episode?
Nobody
No, that I
immediately
think
comes to
Wow.
mind.
Joe Pesci should be in
Joe
Star
Pesci
Trek.
should have been in a Star Trek episode.
He still
Well,
could be,
and-
or is he retired?
No,
he's
he
back.
came out of
He's
retirement
back.
for
Oh.
one movie, but I don't know if he'll
movie.
keep acting. But he was
that's
out
the
for
daughter.
what, 20 years,
Yes,
15 years?
20 years. Does anybody made a family tree of this kid? Who the heck is actually immediate
They
family
really
of
should.
Kevin? I want to know.
So-
Buzz is.
so back
the
to
blonde girl is.
Back to the point of this being these sets being built inside of a school.
kid is.
I think they do a pretty decent job of
Yeah.
making it feel like the same house, but it still doesn't feel big enough to me inside.
Right.
That's fair. One of the things
I don't know what all those rooms are with all the windows outside. Like, it doesn't feel like it looks like a big house. It doesn't look like that house. That's a
Right.
mansion.
Right.
This is not a mansion.
It's like
from what I
freaking-
recall, not having gone back to this film, and knowing that they had,
You just back crap, Jeff.
and knowing that they actually had a two-story set, it makes sense. But in a very similar way
Are
to
you gonna
Die
say it with me?
Hard,
What the French call
Les
les compétents. Sorry.
And then we have to do it when he does the little flashbacks, and they're like really sinister.
And I like that with the flashbacks, they
don't.
all say them different
I
ways,
know.
and they're more heightened and exaggerated. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's great. Sorry. Go ahead.
but very similar to Die Hard, I feel like we establish the geography really well, so you always know where people are.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I get what the layout of the inside of the house
Yeah.
is. Just not totally sure I buy it's that house.
I always remember this really well. Like, for some reason, this scene was very, like, uncomfortable for me as a kid, and I don't know why. And he's on the tick.
Because he's
Yes, he
talking
is.
about French
Okay,
ladies
so-
not shaving their pits.
Have you put this together? Because I didn't until Eric mentioned it. So this bully kid is tinfoil Kevin in the Tick in the Amazon show.
What?
Yeah, and
Which-
playing a
which
character.
one? Which one?
No,
Buzz?
him. Yeah, Buzz. And playing a character
Wait,
named Kevin.
The guy that lives in the head.
lives in the head.
thing?
That's
What?
You just put a beard on him and make him a little
Oh
bit
my
Look at
god,
him.
it is.
That's who it
Totally.
is.
Oh my god.
Isn't that
I didn't
insane?
realize
And playing a character named Kevin.
living on my.
Think about it. So there is. I'm going to refer to this a couple times because I watched it recently, and there's some good information in it. And this is where I found out about where they shot the interiors. But there is a new show on Netflix that's
the movies
that's
that
coming
made
out
us.
of Toys
Is
That
that
Made
the
Us,
one?
movies that
Yes.
made us, and
I
this
saw
is the
that.
first episode for that.
Okay.
And they mentioned something in that I had never thought of before, Eric, which is all of the colors in the house are red and green.
Oh.
And all and they do that throughout the movie. Like they make as much of it red and green as humanly possible because it's Christmas. And as soon as you see that, you can't unsee it, and it suddenly looks like the gaudiest house. It seemed fine until somebody told me that. No, I'm like, oh my god.
I only watched like half the episode, and I do something else, and I just haven't gone back to it. So I only have half of the information from that.
So this old man is not doing enough to counteract the fact that all the kids on the block thinks that he's a murderer.
He needs to clear his name.
If I knew that everyone thought that I was an axe murderer that the cops just could never catch because there wasn't enough evidence, I wouldn't be walking up to children with this big, giant, scary... Like, look! He does this every time
Yes.
Okay.
somebody looks at him. I would not be doing that.
But I have two questions.
He should get a car.
Do the adults think that?
I am not a murderer.
Do the adults think that, or is it just the kids?
No, it's just the kids.
It's the kid.
And two, does he know that the kids think
Yes,
that?
because he says that later.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
when
like,
he meets him in the church...
Well, then he's just having
He
fun
says,
with it, which
I
is
know
what
there's
I
a
would
lot
do
of-
as an old man.
I don't think he
Like, I hope
is
that's
having
not a
fun with it.
black-faced lawn jockey they just knocked over. Lawn jockey.
No, he's a bronze lawn jockey.
Is it bronze?
I think it's bronze.
Yeah,
That's bronze.
I think it's bronze. Yeah.
If it's bronze, but it's clearly a black guy, then does it still count as blackface?
I don't know if it counts as
could be.
blackface if the
It could
entire
be. I think it
statue is
could.
black.
No, I think it could. Yes.
Okay.
There's Kieran Culkin.
This is not a direction I thought this would go.
Oh man, that is him!
Yeah.
Wow.
on
I only know
Succession.
him from Scott Pilgrim.
He's
where
on
he's great.
Succession right now. He's great.
What if all the kids were just Culkins?
Well, and then Macaulay Culkin was on an AVGN last year, and he played the pizza boy, and it's hilarious.
He was on the new Best of the Worst. Scary Christmas.
He has come back on that show 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
He's been a
He must
recurring
live
guest.
around Milwaukee or in Milwaukee.
Wait, I just noticed that Joe Pesci's tie tack is a gun. I think.
It does.
I didn't notice that!
Is that police
Until we
issue?
put it on the projector screen, I would have never noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I love about that? Everyone in this house is an idiot for buying him impersonating a police officer when he's got a gun as a tie tack. Come on.
Also, they just leave him there for like
He's
just
also-
standing in their house for like 20 minutes.
Wouldn't that be like the tackiest, most like not okay thing for a cop to do?
I know.
He's also... The
bad
dad
form.
is talking to the police officer the way a kid thinks an adult would talk to a police officer. Because they haven't grown up yet and realize everyone talks to a police officer the same, which is you immediately assume you're guilty and something's going on.
That's true.
That dad is way too casual with
He's
that
like,
police
"Hey, what's
officer.
up?"
Yeah, he's like, hey, you're in my house.
It's a really good point. Why is it okay with him just standing inside the house?
If you came downstairs right now, we are downstairs. But if you came you came down the upstairs
And there was a cop
and
in
there was
the
a
bunker?
cop, you would be like,
Yeah.
well, no, not to the bunker, like to
Oh,
the door.
okay. Yeah,
if,
yeah.
if you were like putting kids down or something, you came down, there was a cop at the door.
Uh-oh.
Your immediate reaction would not be like, hey, what's up? You'd be like,
Okay.
what's
Someone's
wrong?
gonna
What's
have to
happening?
black
To
Yeah,
this
right.
day, I still can't watch the scene.
It is.
It makes me gag. I can't deal with it. I have a weak
This is
stomach.
right.
I don't do well with. Yeah, I can't do it. It's like a horror film. I can't. You guys, I can't do it.
Uh-oh.
I can't. I'm just gonna
play.
get behind Adam here. Just tell me when it's over, okay? So let me know.
Which part?
It's over.
That
Oh,
part.
don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Hey, you guys can't see me, but I'm now flipping Eric the bird.
Did they
Why?
have
Okay. You
I'm
cannot
actually
blame
not.
Cups of
Kevin for you
milk?
people leaving the passports and the airline tickets
You guys,
on the
I didn't even
counter with
watch
all
it,
the food.
And I'm
That is
trying
not
not to.
fair.
And I'm trying not to gag again. I didn't
Why
even
are
watch
there
it.
cups of milk?
I know. Kevin's only
Don't say milk right now.
Kevin's only 50%
guys-
responsible.
But you don't put that with pizza.
They're all pissed at him. And it's not his fault.
Eric, I can't do it, man.
Completely.
Yeah, it's clearly his fault. It's clearly Buzz's fault.
It's Buzz's fault. Yeah, Kevin, maybe he overreacted. But
No,
they're
it's-
the ones who kept
It's ridiculous that everybody was okay with
they're the
him
ones who
barfing that
kept
up.
the plate, the passports. Passports.
Well, the thing
And the
was,
airline
he
tickets on the
didn't.
table.
He acts like he's going to, and then Kevin pushes him.
And that's why it happens.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
Wait, they already started eating, and that pizza guy's just standing there? Like,
Yeah,
they've got
they've been
pizza
there for
on
20
plates,
minutes,
they've
both
got
of them.
drinks
and
poured.
the cop. The cop.
No, it's hilarious.
Bye. I'm just gonna walk away.
But yeah, you'd still blame the bully kid for instigating it.
Yeah, you'd think they'd both get in trouble.
But that kid never gets in trouble for anything.
No.
Well, and that's Bully Kids in Any movies,
these movies,
but
yeah.
also specifically John Hughes movies.
Yeah, we should mention that there's a lot of typical in this, and it just did not hurt it at all.
Well, so
not at the box office. I mean, what's funny is critically, this movie was really mixed, but it just didn't matter. And
there's all the red and green. Holy
as we go
crap.
through this, yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh my god!
Yes, you probably never noticed it before.
No, I can't unsee it.
It's interesting because
it's even red and green in the attic.
in the attic.
when this came out, it is very much like Jingle All the Way, where a lot of people really don't like it and think it's really mean-spirited, and then everyone grew up with it, and that no longer matters.
Yeah.
It just became
Now
a
it's
Christmas
considered a
classic.
Christmas
Jingle
classic,
All the Way
and-
is a Christmas classic.
Jingle All the Way is absolutely a Christmas classic.
This much more so, but you could make.
But see, that's because you didn't grow up with it. If you were 5 years older, you would not think this is a Christmas classic.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about how it's regarded in the culture. Like, there are people who don't like Jingle All the Way. You don't hear people say bad things about Home Alone anymore that are younger than that are like
That's true,
younger
but
than
you did
35.
when it came out.
You did when it came out,
And like,
yeah.
like Dogma has a whole joke about how it makes
the-
no sense this
But
movie
the
made
difference
money.
is, I don't know what the critics said about Jingle All the Way when it came out, except for Siskel and Ebert, who hated it, and rightly so. But I don't know what other critics said when it came out. But the difference is that movie wasn't a huge moneymaker, and this was massive. That's what I'm saying. This was gonna be considered a Christmas classic. Because of how huge it did monetarily, because the sequel did well too. Like,
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing this in the theater. I think I saw it.
When does this come
sure
out?
I did.
91? 92?
1990, I think.
this is 90 or 91, yeah.
Yeah, and then Home Alone
Yeah, I definitely
2
don't see
came
this
out
thing.
92 or 3. I don't.
So
I saw that one in the theater.
we should talk after a while about obviously how unbelievable a lot of this movie is and how unrealistic it is and whether or not that's a problem. But how much of the success of this movie is the score?
A lot.
It's a lot of it.
Well, so this is written by John Hughes.
And they got so lucky they got John Williams to do this, because he was not there from the beginning. He was like an 11th hour thing, and they were having a hard time with the score. They were trying to get somebody to score it, and somebody said, well, it'd be really nice if we get John Williams. And then they sent it to him, and he just liked the movie, so he scored it. And they said before his score was on it, it was like a completely different movie.
Oh, really?
And I'm telling you, this movie does not... It probably bombs without that score. I'm going to go that far. Well, maybe not bombs, because, I mean, it's not like the score sold it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I don't think...
But it elevated
it's
it
as
to a
remembered.
level it had. Right.
I don't think it's as remembered at the very
Well,
least,
well,
yeah.
and there's lots of movies where they talk about that. I forget what one is particularly, but there's one specifically where they show a cut of a movie, and all of the executives are like, "Oh no!" And then they show it with music, and they're like, "This works complete."
Yep.
No, it's Alien. It's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. Like, this isn't scary at all. It's Halloween. Halloween. John Carpenter shows a rough cut, and they're like, "This isn't scary." And then he puts the
Wow.
music on
Not
it,
his
and
music. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know if this had that with the music, but I know when they showed the executives, they were not totally sure about it. I'm pretty sure that happened. Oh, and this also has that weird thing that it starts with Warner Brothers, and then they tried to shut them down, and Fox bought the movie in the middle of that happening.
Interesting.
And it was a little bit not entirely legally above board how they did it, but
He just said he put paper in the microwave to dry it off.
yes.
But what I was going to say earlier, especially about you talking about like tonally, like what this movie's doing. So it's written by John Hughes. Movies that made us say it's actually written by both of them. Like Chris Columbus does drafts, but like it's credited solely to John Hughes. So I'm not sure how much Chris Columbus actually contributed. But John Hughes is obviously a huge name in the 80s. But the thing that he does really well as a writer is his movies are not realistic. They are from the perspective of the age of the characters. So, like, his teen comedies were as successful as they were because, like, Breakfast Club is from the perspective of a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
This is from the perspective of a child. So things are scarier or nicer or... and I think that's very successful watching it as a kid because it's like, yes, that is what going down to the basement feels like.
That's true, but where that breaks down is that all the scenes that don't have the kid in them also have that. Mm-hmm. And so it feels like a cartoon universe.
But is it...
That's not entirely sure that it's a cartoon universe.
Could you argue that that's
And that's what a lot of people criticize it
how
for.
the kids would see those scenes playing out?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Especially because, I mean, if the kid's not actually there...
Well, yeah, but... I don't know.
Like, what do you mean? Like you don't have the POV.
Well, but you would still... If you're still doing the scene as in... I don't know. Like, the entire movie is from how the kid sees the universe.
Like,
yes.
How does it really happen, though? Like there are scenes where Kevin's not there, and the burglars are getting hurt in ways that would kill them.
I'm saying the whole movie happens the way a kid would think it would happen. Not even necessarily Kevin McAllister, but like just like the dad walking down talking to the cop. There's not a kid in that scene.
Right here breaks down. They wouldn't let
it
him
exists
on
in the reality that
it
exists in the reality that a child thinks the world is what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's what it's intending to do, though.
Okay, I'm just saying.
And I've
John
also not
Hughes
seen other John
that.
Hughes movies, but I think he's using that as a crutch here.
He might be.
If that's the case.
Well, and Breakfast Club specifically has a cut to the adults where it is.
I don't mind some movie logic, and I don't mind movies having a different internal logic from the real world. I just think this movie cuts some corners and it is hoping that you won't notice it before it's being a really like heightened different kind of universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that makes it easier for people to accept those things is that it has a blockbuster score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the score sounds like it belongs in something like Harry Potter, of course, but it's in this like smaller movie that didn't have a giant budget. Now it ended up going well past the budget, which is the reason that Warner Brothers wouldn't make it ultimately, and Fox allowed them to use that budget. But still, like, it feels like a way bigger and grander film than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the success of this movie, is that most of it takes place in a house, but it sounds like an epic.
Well, and my memories of the movie are the movie being, like, real eerie and scary and weird. And, I mean, that is a heightened universe. Like, it's not totally inconsistent. It's consistent with that weird kind of cynical tone. I think, not having gone back to it in a long time.
That's the thing, is I just wasn't totally sure that it quite held up in that way when I went back to it. But I'm of two minds about it. Like,
well, and Christmas movies always get a larger pass than anything else.
Well, and I have a hard time being, like, I'm mostly delivering the devil's advocate argument when I say that, where I'm saying I get where critics were coming from when they said that, and I'm saying that, like, I'm not totally sure it holds up with that if I have to put on my critical hat, but it's also difficult for me to be totally objective with this because I did grow up with this movie and I saw it a lot, and I don't know that I would want it to be any different than it is.
I feel like I remember watching this movie even when it wasn't Christmas season.
Yeah, I think I did that too. But I don't think I did with any other Christmas movies, really.
I don't think so either.
I maybe watched Christmas Vacation outside Christmas. I don't know, but
I've never sat through that all the way through.
Christmas Vacation is Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but it's a farce.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's an out-and-out
on purpose. Yeah. And this movie, I think, goes back and forth. Here's the thing: if it doesn't have the message at the end and the really touching scene with the old man in the church, then it feels like way too cynical of a movie. But if it doesn't have that, it also would feel less like a movie that you're supposed to take seriously.
Right.
But I have always thought this movie feels like kind of a live-action cartoon.
I feel like that is par for the course with a lot of John Hughes movies, where they will be. He has these weird tonal shifts where he all of a sudden gets real, like, almost melodramatic, I would say. So, like the whole little breakdown that Cameron has in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for example.
Yes.
Or then everybody's little kumbaya at the end of the Breakfast Club. I mean, Breakfast Club was all...
Well, and 16 Candles was supposed to have a much darker ending. Oh, yeah, she was supposed to not get with the popular guy because that's not what happens in real life. And the studio was like, but that's not what anybody wants to see. But the thing about this movie that I think has always, to me, said this is a 100% heightened reality is when he goes to the store and he's able to convince an adult woman that it's okay that he's buying all of this stuff and his mom's right over there.
Right.
Like, that scene is insane. Maybe less so in the 90s, but, like, that is the kind of scene that only happens in a children's film.
That's true, but having been like 6 or 7 when this movie came out, I can tell you that didn't feel that weird to me.
Okay.
And like my mom would send me to the store at that age, and
Interesting.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Okay. I knew that was stuff that happened like to my mother, but at least by the time I was a kid, that was not a thing that was
It
happening.
would not happen to a kid like this, probably. Little rich kid.
But I mean, like I was walking to kindergarten by myself at 5, like several blocks. And my mom would send me down the street to get milk and stuff at 7 or 8.
Culprit, don't.
That doesn't even physically make sense.
Well, he's gonna cut him up first, see, and
Here it is.
But he's not the only one that has to make trouble. They all treat him like crap.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they brought this on themselves.
I
Like,
think Kevin
as
McAllister-
always, I blame the parents.
I think Kevin McAllister is kind of complicated in that
He's a sociopath.
he is not a good kid, but he is not a
bad
good kid
kid.
because everyone is a jerk to him. He's
Yes.
not wrong, but he is misbehaving.
And that makes him weirdly sympathetic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now the question is, again, does the movie know that? Because I want to think it does.
I think Chris Columbus is a hack, so like I don't know. Like maybe.
When we talk,
I don't think Chris Columbus is a great filmmaker, but I like what he does with this movie
Yeah.
fine.
Well, and he
No,
hasn't.
any
He's still
clothes?
trying here.
Yeah, I love how he responds to that. That's exactly right for that age. No clothes on anybody.
for some reason, when I was a kid, I thought when he said firecrackers, I thought that was like a food. So for some reason in my brain, I didn't think firecrackers. I don't know, but so
Okay. Sure.
That is just him in an outfit, right? Isn't that the joke? It's like Buzz in a fat suit. I want to say I heard that at some point.
Oh, I've never heard that.
I want to say that's a thing I've heard.
So obviously, a lot of the success of this movie is that it's such a wish fulfillment thing for
Yeah.
kids, and kids are imagining like, what would I do if I had the house all to myself for days while my parents were gone? And I think one of the reasons that that a lot of parents objected to it was that they didn't want their kids to be inspired by it.
it's a bad influence.
They were afraid that it was a bad
bet
influence.
you
Where
there's-
it wasn't, because I think there was some just like superficial, oh, it's too violent. But I think there was also the argument of, well, if I leave the house, I don't want my kids setting traps on me. And I think some of that probably happened.
I think that.
So, I'm sorry.
Like snakes.
No, I don't know. Never
This is a fake movie.
Right.
It does not really exist.
Right.
And he's clearly watching it because it's a movie he's not supposed to watch, right?
Right.
He's watching rubbish.
Is it too convenient that it is also a Christmas movie?
Yes. A little bit.
Is this a Christmas movie?
He says, like, Merry Christmas, you filthy
No,
animal.
that's in the second
No,
one.
he says that here.
He does?
Yeah. So in the second one, he adds Happy New Year.
No. He says keep the change.
Oh, it's
filthy
Keep the
animal
Change. It's
in the
it's
one.
Merry Christmas in the second one.
Oh,
No, you're right.
okay.
This isn't a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie the second time.
So it's too convenient in the second one.
Yeah.
Yes, but everything is too convenient.
But
in that movie.
everybody remembers it as Merry Christmas and
That
filthy
movie
animal.
does know it's a cartoon, and it doesn't make it any better.
Does Chris Columbus come back for that? Or is
Yes.
that something else?
Everybody came back for it.
Well, I know John Hughes does because he writes
wrote
3
it,
as well.
And John Hughes wrote 3?
He wrote 3.
I didn't know that.
But also understand that around that time, he also does Flubber. Like, his career is
Wow.
not in a good
Flubber.
place in the
Now,
90s.
would everybody agree with me when I say that even though this is a fake movie, I could totally buy that's a movie?
I would say
That's a
up
little
until-
violent for a
until
black
I
and
think
white
for
movie.
1940s, they would not have had squibs
Yeah,
on
okay.
him
On the
like
body.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way they produced it, but the way they wrote it, like I could have bought that movie.
I could have bought
existed.
that, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And like, Keep the Change, you filthy animal sounds like a great old movie line.
So I guess you could
Right?
also maybe just think it could be maybe Kevin's, but it's all through the perspective of Kevin seeing these things as more intense than they are.
He is filling in the
He
blanks
could
that aren't
fill
actually
in
there.
the squibs and the violence that maybe not actually.
So I made a Facebook
Exist.
post about this recently. One of the things, this is so minor, but I gotta mention it because I think it's funny. One of the places where this is just me, where I most have a hard time suspending my disbelief is whenever he plays that movie and people think that it's actually happening in the house because people know what movies through a speaker sound like.
know.
Even in this
Even
day
when
and
he does
age.
the firecrackers, Do you think he does set off
Yeah,
the fire?
that helps. But before that, the pizza guy is buying that guy is actually talking to him, and people talking through speakers sound different.
And why didn't these burglars? Don't you think they would have been clued in because everybody else in the entire neighborhood would have heard that and somebody would have called the cops probably?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I guess everybody's gone. Supposedly.
If you play this commentary back for someone in another room, they're not going to think I'm there. They're going to think you're playing a commentary, right?
He got really good speakers.
I also do not
really good speakers.
Really good speakers.
I do not care what happens at the end of this movie. She is a bad mother.
Yeah. Well, and
you will not. This movie cannot convince me otherwise. You forgot your child,
and that was the thing. And to be fair, John Hughes did everything he could to make her as sympathetic as he could. Well, and let's not just blame her. It's both the parents' fault, right? Like,
yes,
like
but
why
the
are we
dad
just
doesn't
putting it
care.
on?
Clearly, like he is okay with being a bad father. He's not hanging out with
really worried
with
about
the acapella group. Are they acapella or are they yodelers?
No. They're
polka players.
Polka players.
Yeah,
of course
they are. The polka king.
Yes.
Polka.
I'm a bougie polka.
And all that was ad lib. The only ad lib stuff in the movie is John Candy. He ad libbed like half his dialogue.
This guy's such a...
And is he their only child, or does he have actual? Oh, I guess Buzz is his.
No, Buzz is his older brother.
Is there anyone else?
I don't know if one of the girls is his sister or not. I don't think so, though. I don't know where all those.
Because it doesn't get the cheaper by the dozen thing, where it's like, well, we have so many kids, it's hard to keep track of all of them. Like, they have two, maybe three kids.
But was there the whole family of kids there?
But you keep track of your kid.
I guess so. But the
not if they're in a different bus.
Doing it. Yeah.
Weren't they all not in the same?
They gave
car together?
The adult college student girl the responsibility.
That's
she
right.
screwed it up
that's
because
right.
she
that's
counted
right.
that little.
There was a neighbor
that
kid
little
that was
obnoxious
there.
kid was in
Maybe
there
you forgot about that
wearing
scene,
the exact same clothes that Kevin wears later.
Well, that's the thing. It's also two people.
So that's why they get confused.
Well, right, you had your whole family over and you went to the airport. And
when
you
they
didn't know where
him in
Jason
the airport,
was.
Well, you would make sure that Jason got through customs. Okay.
Well, that's the thing is that
customs doesn't exist right now.
Well, they would have security back then.
Yeah, you just walk to the plane.
Yeah, you still have to go through metal detectors.
No, you don't.
Even back then, yes, you did.
I don't think you
yes,
did.
You did.
I used to just
they had
walk
hijackers in the 70s.
No,
That's when that all
you
started.
Totally did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, this is a very difficult premise to make us buy in the first place.
Or at least make sympathetic on the parents' end.
Right.
Like, if it's like Matilda and the parents are just awful.
Yeah.
But then you can't have a happy ending because, they came back.
Right. The thing is, it wants to have
look at this.
The heartfelt ending where he runs to his mother and he comes to appreciate his family. So the parents have to be there. The easiest way to make this premise work is somebody else is taking the kids on vacation. If the parents weren't there at all, it would be a lot easier to make to make the audience buy it. But the problem is, so I'm going to throw out a bizarre notion, which is, especially as heightened as this movie is in the first place, I don't know that this shouldn't just be a liar-liar situation, where there's a supernatural conceit, and when he wishes the parents disappear, they actually do, but it's only for a certain amount of time, and so by the end of the movie, when he comes to appreciate them again, they magically reappear. And then you've got, everything else in the movie works at that point. Everything. Just add that little supernatural component, do it like liar-liar.
But you lose John Candy.
Well, the thing is, John Candy shouldn't even be there in the first place.
But he's one of the things I remember about this movie.
Here's the thing. I love John Candy, but it doesn't ruin John Candy any more than the actual movie does, because when she gets back, the dad walks in seconds afterwards, and it turns out that they were able to get an earlier flight and get there. Yeah,
it
makes no difference that she does everything she can to get there real fast.
Herself getting back. And...
It kind of retroactively, it just reads like padding, and it seems like she has a pointless subplot just so she doesn't look unsympathetic.
Right.
Yeah, and the dad doesn't care because he's okay with being a bad parent.
He's like, whatever, he'll be fine.
What do you think about the supernatural conceit idea?
Maybe, but...
I feel like that opens a lot of doors that Liar didn't open.
Now they should have noticed.
Where were they?
Where were they the whole time?
Now they should have noticed.
What do
Why
they
are
remember?
running to the air?
You just do a subplot where they're in a big blank white void walking around.
This is all the same airport. This has got to be all be they shot this all in the same place.
We're making a crossover with Beetlejuice, Eric. That's what we do. We just send them to the Beetlejuice afterlife for a minute, and then they talk to Michael Keaton every now and again.
Madame?
I get that that's not the kind of movie that John Hughes wanted to make. But the thing is, I don't think if it had a supernatural conceit, it changes very much, and it makes all the heightened stuff more believable. Like, the fact that Liar Liar is in a universe where that can happen makes all the Hollywood logic way easier to swallow.
Have you ever seen Mr. Mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is John Hughes.
I like that movie.
And that is also a very heightened, weird
That's
world.
true. Yeah.
I think John Hughes just writes weird, heightened worlds.
Well, again,
Ferris
He
Bueller is
wrote,
very
he wrote
heightened.
Christmas Vacation.
I'm not saying it
He
has
did,
to
and
Yeah.
he wrote the original Vacation.
And the original Vacation.
I'm not saying it has to be super realistic. I'm saying that I think in some scenes it wants you to think it's more realistic than it actually is.
I've never seen
That's all I'm
anyone's
suggesting.
career crash and burn
Flame.
as hard as John Hughes's.
Why did,
When
yeah,
did he
what happened
die?
to him? Like, a
He
couple
might
years
still be
ago.
alive.
No,
I don't
he
know.
died.
Oh,
He
he
died.
died? Okay. I'm not sure, but, like...
You didn't finish the movies that made us think he's dead. That's why I know that.
There was,
but-
like, a hard transition. Like, after this movie... there's that one where the teenagers are
Could the
trapped
old
in
man be
Target.
working harder to make him not react like this? He's got that crazy look on his face. Like, why doesn't he say anything?
These cops suck too.
Well, I think there's some social commentary here about like parents and adults in general in the 90s not caring about what happens to kids. I think there's totally a social commentary thing going on there.
Well, and
This
like,
is where I like it being hyped.
And there's like the 24-hour news cycle, or not
Yeah.
news cycle, the 24-hour, like you have to wait 24
I've
hours for
seen
your
this
kids
guy
missing.
somewhere,
And
I don't know where.
he's in The Shadow. He's also
He is.
Shadow.
Yes, he's the cab driver in The Shadow. He is also in Seinfeld. He is the guy who plays Kramer on
Oh my
the
god,
TV
on the
show.
fake Seinfeld
Yes,
show. That's
yes,
where he's, and he's
yes.
like, no, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah,
That guy,
yeah,
yes.
And I always
Ew,
found
got
this
the
scene
donut on the
very
drops
receiver.
memorable.
donut on
On
the
the
receiver,
receiver.
and it just keeps going in the tape.
going.
That is a real comedic actor. He just keeps going. There's no way they planned that. That's amazing.
I also believe that he is partners with the, in my brain, he is partners with the fat donut eating cop from the Santa Claus that they
Oh.
tie up.
This is another
For some
film
reason,
haven't
I
seen
feel
in
like
years.
those
I haven't seen
two
that in so long.
exist.
There's a lot of looking directly into the camera or just past the camera in this movie, which is also part of what gives it kind of a heightened
It's
feel.
his trait. It's a Chris Columbus
well-
director's flip.
Well, it's also Chris
It's like
Columbus'
Spielberg
first
and people
directorial
walking
debut,
into the camera.
and
or
those might be
whatever.
faux pas.
They're not when Kevin does it. That's
Yes,
clearly
yes,
very intentional.
yes.
But when other characters do it, I'm with you. I don't know that they did that on purpose.
I can see your shape.
And like modern convention, you're not supposed to look directly into the camera, but obviously that's a rule that you can break when there's a good reason to break it. And I think on Kevin's side, it's fine to break it because he's the only character in most of his scenes, and like Eric was talking about, like it's his world, and you're just looking at it. And
Got every light on.
I actually think that's kind of a good tactic, especially in a comedy. Like I think it's easier to do in a comedy, but I think it's a good tactic because it makes you
Because
feel
found an
like
account there,
you're
kids,
the
I
other
guess.
character in the room, if that makes any sense at all. Like, it's hard to pull off scenes with a single character doing stuff, so it kind of subconsciously gives you the feeling that there's another character in the room.
Look at
I guess that's why it works.
And he does it less subtly. Well, not less subtly. In Ferris Bueller, he just turns and talks to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a device
just
we'll use a lot
Fourth wall breaking.
later.
Yeah.
But it's a subtler version of that. Well, and that goes back to stage, obviously.
Well, and I think that would have been a mistake in this movie. Like, you really easily could have written a movie where Kevin, like, starts talking to you, the audience, because he thinks he needs somebody to talk to, and I think that would have been a mistake.
Well, it would have been Malcolm in the Middle. Because that's
Before
the
that
device of
happened?
Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, like 10 years
I didn't
before.
know that. I've never seen that show.
Oh, yeah. No, he constantly turns and talks to you. And
Which is
explains
funny,
things.
because the theme song is They Met With Giants, but I've just never actually watched that show.
I liked it. I can't imagine watching it without ever
Yeah, I
having
don't
seen it
remember
when you were a
seeing it in
kid.
a
Like,
long
I don't know if
time.
that's a
I saw
show
it,
you
like,
can
yeah,
go
back
back
in
to.
the day. But I don't remember it very well.
But it is, what's his
they
name from
filmed
Breaking
this
Bad?
all in O'Hare Airport, I bet.
You should watch at least a couple episodes just to see that.
Pretending to be
Just see what?
The guy from Breaking Bad.
Brian Cranston.
Bryan
Bryan
Cranston.
Cranston, right.
Just to see him kind of younger, but also play,
A totally different thing.
and very funny. He is the best part of that show.
Well, and one of the things that makes Breaking Bad work is the levity and the comedy in that show.
There's an amazing cut where they do...
Because he's also very funny in that. It's just a different kind of funny.
His character in Malcolm in the Middle has a freak out in the car, and they cut back and forth between Breaking Bad freak out in the car and Malcolm in the Middle freak out in the car, and they're two completely different performances.
Okay, so guys, I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
I've wondered this my whole life, but I've always been too afraid to say anything.
What does aftershave do?
I'm gonna finally... I don't know why he freaks out when he puts it on his face.
It stings a little bit.
Okay.
If you shave.
But I also
I
don't
always
know why...
assume that's what it
But
was.
it's like a
but
little
I've
tiny
only
bit.
ever
I
used
mean-
an electric razor, and I've never used aftershave.
Okay.
I don't know what it
Okay.
feels like.
Here's
I
my...
use a regular razor. I know.
If I'm
shave it
thinking
with
about
a
that scene...
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which
We're learning a lot about Adam today.
Which obviously became an immediately like iconic scene.
Right. Well, they also sold it on it. If it wasn't
Yes.
the commercials, I don't know that
Yes.
it would have been iconic.
I hope he didn't die.
Why does he do it?
We'll have to watch the credits and see.
Why
if it
does
says
he put the aftershave on?
If he
Why-
knows what it does,
Yeah,
why
and-
wouldn't he pretend to shave
And
first
not
or
only
try
that-
to shave first?
Right.
Because he knows what the...
But not only that, he does it again.
Yeah, he knows what the
He does it
antiperspirant
more than
does.
once
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, why does he keep doing that?
Why does he keep doing
And
it?
the thing is,
Well, he trashed this guy's house. But he
the
deserved
producers acted like they didn't know that was going to be a huge iconic moment. But why is it in it
it.
twice
That's like
then?
$20.
I guess they think they're just doing a fun callback to something. So that's a setup for a, kind of an obvious payoff later.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the bug.
They
or
cut
the-
back to the
excuse me, spider
tarantula
is-
creeping around multiple times in the movie before.
I was going to
just-
ask, because it's subtle if they don't. But
No,
if
I think they keep
cutting
showing
back
it.
No,
to
they
it-
keep showing it walking around.
Well, they
in
probably
different
think,
shots.
yeah, in their defense, they probably think it's also kind of continuity, where it's like, we're showing it walking through the house, so when it gets there, you won't be like, how did it get that far?
It's like a fuse going. Where, like, you're keeping track.
That's right.
We're the wet band. Look at him. This is ridiculous. This is the worst burglars ever. He's just taking junk.
Yeah, see,
He's
He's playing with a toy, like, of course.
I don't believe that they haven't been caught yet. That's
He's just taking the decorations.
I think this movie was incredibly lucky to get Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And
he had just done Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Or is
that
it right
he did
before
this.
Goodfellas? I thought
Right before-
Goodfellas was 91.
Was Goodfellas 91?
I think
It was
Goodfellas is
before
91.
Goodfellas, maybe
Because it
was.
loses to... Is it Forrest Gump? It loses
no,
to
no,
something
no.
else that's like a feel-good movie.
Apparently,
was-
he complained throughout the production that the dialogue was beneath him.
Oh, he did.
Interesting.
Goodfellas was This is Wolves.
He had a really hard time not swearing all the time, which is the reason
That does not surprise
That's
me.
which is the
Right.
reason he does the whole like like he made that up so
Interesting.
that he could cover the fact that he's not swearing because he feels like this character should swear.
This is.
But that
insane.
adds to it being a heightened, like, child's version of the
This
world.
is one of the
Yeah,
things that
that's
bothers
right.
me. The insanity here.
Well,
Of
and the
going
Furback
af-
knows it's a cartoon. Absolutely.
Sending a cop chasing after a child for stealing a toothbrush by accident. You got it. He's a shoplifter.
Okay, so you're kind of right and you're kind of not. So she's not sending the cop after. She's sending like the kid
The
that works
kid.
there, and then the kid,
Well, the kid yells
at
at the cop,
at
but then the
cop.
cop. I meant the way the screenwriter had the cop chase this kid down. And I guess
But
the
the
cop
cop
didn't know what
doesn't
he took.
know
That's
that
true.
he did it on accident, is
and
what
he
I'm
also
trying to
doesn't
say.
know what he took either.
Right, yeah.
That's true. I see what you're saying.
So like, it's a silly situation certainly,
Yeah.
and it's maybe a contrived scenario,
Right.
but
See, his problem is lack of self-awareness.
But I feel like that.
He doesn't know how terrifying
he
is.
does
I
though,
know.
because at the end he says, "I know what the
I feel
stories
like-
are about
I
me."
don't know. I feel like the shop boy maybe. He
But
was
I don't
the
think
one
he knows the
that-
They're
expressions
doing
he's
this-
giving. Like, I think he thinks he's
Yeah.
looking... He's, like, pleasantly looking at a young
See,
boy.
he's like,
and
oh god, I'm
then-
gonna be like Superman here.
The problem, okay, so this looks like a job for drug boy.
Who?
Yeah, see, all the cop knows is that he took something. It
That's
could
the
be
crappy
worth
cop from
$500.
earlier.
He
That's
doesn't
the
know.
same cop from the
I mean, there's probably
that came
nothing
to
in
his
there
house.
that costs $500 except for like drugs, but
This guy is still a cop, and he can't chase down an 8-year-old child.
yeah, that's when you know it's time to go to the gym.
So, I recently saw a film which has about 4 different titles in America. It's a French film. I saw his download Santa Claus. If you have the horror streaming service Shudder, it's as Dangerous Games. It came out in '89. Was never screened in America till last year, except for one showing where a group of filmmakers are there. And it is unknown whether Chris Columbus was there or not. But it is a very similar premise, which is an even more heightened tone. But it's not bandits, it's like a crazy Santa Claus breaking the house. But it's a kid like running around the house and I don't think it's similar enough that the director's right that he tried to press legal action to say they stole his movie. I don't think it's close enough for that, but there is a darker version of this film, and it's called
that you can't get.
You can watch on Shudder. It is streaming currently.
Oh, it's now
but
streaming,
it was not released in America until last year.
Okay.
Was the
now,
first
Adam,
time it was screened.
You can't tell me a movie called Crazy Santa Claus wouldn't sell. Okay, you could absolutely sell a movie called Crazy Santa Claus.
Well, you could watch. What is it? Is it Christmas Sleigh or Santa Sleigh or something like that with Goldberg as an evil crazy Santa Claus?
Goldberg?
The wrestler Goldberg.
Oh.
He plays an evil Santa Claus. I can't remember what it's called.
I was like, Whoopi Goldberg.
The weirdest
Sleigh.
evil Santa Claus thing I ever saw, it was like, I don't know if it was a Russian movie or a Finnish movie, but it was called Rare Exports. And it's like these people that live like in Russia or Finland in like the Arctic. And there's like these Santas that are like, but they're like, I don't know, like a separate race of beings. Like they discovered this old guy, and he's like all shriveled. It was the craziest thing.
But I think it's really fascinating that a movie so similar came out the year previously, completely unrelated.
And they didn't.
He's also a much richer kid.
That's so funny. That's so really funny. It's a great shot.
That kid is way better than Macaulay Culkin.
Okay, so I just thought of this. I never paid attention to the side of that van before, but I would not call a plumbing service called OK Plumbing.
OK Plumbing. It's just OK Plumbing.
It's just okay. Just okay is not okay. Wait a minute. I've seen you before. You had a gun as a tie tack.
And then they try to sneak behind him by rolling, and then when he looks backwards, they just whistle.
No, it's ridiculous. It's like, hey, you think he's noticing that the only thing that was on the road is following him? Yes.
Also,
yes,
you're not out of
did.
sync with us, but it hasn't happened yet. Is now happening.
This is also right out of a cartoon. That's really funny.
Oh, did you notice that he steals snow globes every time he leaves?
Yes, he's got a whole snow globe thing.
He's got a whole snow globe thing.
But also, he's like that guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? The creepy guy that works for the neo-Nazis.
The guy we call Meth Damon.
No.
Not Todd.
Todd. Remember, Todd has a snow globe fetish.
That's why I call him Meth Damon.
Oh, you call him Meth Damon?
He looks like a low rip Matt Damon.
I didn't remember that you called him that. Yeah.
I'm not the person who came up with that. Somebody else.
Oh, okay. I was going to congratulate you for coming up with that.
But it's also not weird to get on the road and be going slow because there's someone walking in front of you. He's not on the sidewalk. Like, they would be driving slow behind him.
That's true.
Well, that's not what Kevin's going to think, but... Right.
That's true, but he already has reasons to be suspicious because the guy was in his house.
Well, yes. Kevin does. But, I mean, them acting... I don't know.
This is
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do right here.
You're saying we should give the movie slightly more credit.
To disguise... Wait, I don't understand why there was a cloth blanket and crook thing when everything here is
hey,
like
wait a minute. That's a good point.
Statue.
Because he's a cartoon character, and he just pulled it out of his
That
mouth.
statue has cloth. Those statues all have cloth clothing.
Do they really?
Did.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
They didn't look like they did.
It looked like it.
Okay.
Speaking of
We are
mangers,
nitpicking the crap out of it.
at Disney World,
Yeah.
in MGM, they have a manger there.
Do they?
And they only put out the baby Jesus at certain times.
Really?
Because it has been stolen so many times.
I've heard that, yeah.
This is insane. Why does he have all these mannequins?
Yeah, where do you get all
Where
these
the mannequins come from? Even a dressmaker, somebody that would do something like that as a hobby.
Look, Buzz is a weird kid.
Maybe 2 mannequins at most.
Okay, so I have...
So did we set the mannequins up earlier? Maybe we just didn't see them?
I don't think
That's
we
a
did.
young
Yes,
Michael
we did.
Jordan.
At least one of them was in the basement.
In the basement.
Yeah. Okay, so my biggest complaint about Kevin's character arc in this movie is that he's got 2 big things to learn, right? The first one, he's already learned.
survival
before
skills,
the movie
like
has
elaborate.
really gotten going. Yeah. So at the beginning, we're told that he can't do anything for himself, and he's incompetent, and he needs like everybody to do things for him.
Right.
And that's apparently just not true at all.
That's a patent
But
lie.
the movie, at the end of the film, treats it like that's a character arc he went through, and he had to learn to be resourceful.
Right.
And
everyone's
he
like,
didn't
you went to the
learn-
store?
Yeah, like that's amazing.
Oh, look at that stock footage.
He's been home by himself for all of like 3 or 4 hours,
he's
and it's a
already
big
that
deal that he
resourceful.
went to the store and bought things because like this kid is scared of everything and doesn't want to go do anything for himself. Well, he's already learned that. He's done. The only other thing he has to learn is that he misses his family, and he's also going to come to that pretty early.
Just
Like
they hate him too. Look, she's like, that's not for now. They hate this guy too.
so it's a pretty manufactured character arc. Ooh, those look good though. I want shrimp now. Can we get some shrimp?
Complaint about like the aftermath of this movie, kind of.
Yeah.
Anything that has any kind of those kinds of like just home booby trapping. Any movie that has home booby trapping, everyone's like, oh, it's Home Alone. Like the new Rambo movie came out, which I didn't see and I heard was awful. But at the end of that, he like booby traps the house.
And everybody's like Home Alone.
Rambo booby traps things in all of his movies. Like they're not always in a house, but like that's a big thing in the first
So
movies.
you're
He
just
lays traps.
not allowed to do that now because a popular movie
Sky-
did it once.
People kept making fun of Skyfall.
I was gonna say
like,
Skyfall.
oh, it's like Home Alone. And like Kevin
No,
McAllister
it's
wasn't
not.
putting shotgun shells in the floor. Like,
Well, and the thing is,
can we just not do that
That's
because
an
Home
unrated
Alone
version.
exists?
That's a director's cut.
and that's stupid because booby traps go back to ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And they
And
go back to
probably
silent
before,
films
like-
on film.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of comedies that have, like, silent comedies that have that kind of stuff.
Too.
Yeah,
Look
it's
at
the whole
this.
movie is
Oh
green and
my
red.
God. Okay, I guess it's not.
It's a
racist.
Christmas movie.
But I think it would have been nice if that's a really good point you're making, and I think it would have been nice if the idea came from somewhere.
yeah.
If Kevin like was inspired by something to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that, like maybe.
Backdoor, please.
Maybe he, went to a museum and saw an ancient Egypt exhibit, or he saw something on TV, or like it would be cool if it came from something.
Can I say something? That I
It's
think
like
is a-
I'm gonna make my house like a pyramid. I think this is my favorite scene. I think this is my favorite scene.
Well, I
even
don't
though
understand why
even
he's
though I
such a jerk
complain that I
here.
don't buy that he would believe this, although this kid is dumb.
This guy's dumb.
He
Yeah.
stood there for 20 minutes and didn't say anything, waiting
I
for
know,
the
and
for the
he
money to
hit
come. But it is a really funny situation.
Why does Kevin even do this? I mean,
Because he's messing with people.
Unnecessary.
Can I say something that I just noticed? That,
Because he's a little immature
Well-
kid that's really resourceful, even though he's supposed to learn a lesson about resourcefulness.
and I never would have picked up on as a kid, but
Yeah.
I think is hilarious. I don't know if it's supposed to be a joke, but I think it's hilarious. So it's not Little Caesars, it's Little Nero's.
Yeah.
And knowing what I know about Nero, like of the
Yeah.
the Empire, like he's
Yeah.
a monster.
Yeah.
I think it is hilarious that it's
Little
Little
Nero's.
Nero's.
That's actually really funny. I never thought of that. No, that's great. Yeah, like that's the emperor they picked?
Yeah, that's the Emperor they
Take
picked.
place of Caesar?
I think that's hilarious.
I'm really glad you brought that up. That's great.
Well, I only noticed it because like it's on the top of the car, like the Little Caesar, and it's got a little guy like Little Caesar.
Like Little Caesars, yeah. It's got a little Neo, or
Yeah.
little Nero,
Yeah.
little Neos.
Yeah.
There he
He's
is. There's
playing
the
the
little
fiddle.
Emperor
There's
Nero.
me.
Is he playing a fiddle? Is he?
And he's clearly Little Nero's is a better pizza place than Little Caesars is. Because that looks like
Wait,
just,
didn't all the Little
Domino's
Caesars
Pizza
in
Hut
Kansas
type.
City go away?
You cannot.
No,
You
the whole company
cannot.
went under, but
Oh, the whole
I
company
think,
went under?
but it got like bought up again, and it's coming back. I think. I don't know what the deal is.
You
with it.
cannot
Fleece
claim
this
this
old
movie
lady.
I heard
has
that recently.
has no smart or subtle comedy because it has Little Nero.
No, that's wonderful.
What is that?
That's
thing
very
that
funny.
Lady's wearing.
I think I like this movie better now.
Knowing that Little Nero's
That guy's on Seinfeld too. He was the guy that
Yes,
was
he is.
like in the
Yes.
old people episode when they go to like.
He must have been in one of the only Seinfeld
Elder
episodes
kid.
I saw because I recognized that guy. Well, maybe he was in something else I saw too.
He's been in a lot of stuff. I can't remember how.
And the Little Nero's thing proves that jokes are funnier when you explain them because
Okay.
I never noticed that before.
You know what's really
But I think it's
hard
wonderful.
for this mom?
Oh, Avis. Oh, yeah,
Oh, hell, Avis!
Avis.
Okay, so you know what's really difficult for this mom?
I didn't even know Avis existed until a few years ago, but it's in this movie from like 1990.
Yeah.
So, There is no way to explain that and make someone sympathetic for you. It is an emergency. I need to get home. Why? I got on a plane and forgot my child at home. I'm not helping you. You're an awful parent. There is no sympathetic way to spin that to another person.
On the other hand, if that happened to somebody, I think I would feel really bad for them.
Too.
Well, yeah, but also, like, I don't think I would immediately leap to you are a horrible parent, especially if you're reacting the way she's reacting. Like, mistakes happen. Like, you say that, and maybe I shouldn't mention this, but, like, I have once or twice accidentally, like, left the baby in a room when I leave the house and have to come back real quick and get him. Like, when you have several kids, this can happen.
That's
like,
fair.
If you think she's a terrible parent, you have to say I am a terrible
parent. You didn't
parent.
get on a plane and fly to France.
No, that's true.
But they were late.
The smaller version of that,
and that's a baby that you
and
have
I'm sure
to
every
physically...
parent has done that, but not that.
But that's a baby. That's a.
But yeah, why is he gonna do it again? Why is he gonna do it again?
Here it goes.
Because it's a morning routine.
It's a morning routine.
That's what adults do, I guess.
The definition of insanity.
But it's weird that he doesn't shave beforehand because he knows what you do with it.
But also, we've proven that he's this resourceful kid that can adapt to anything, but he's also like a mouse that keeps touching an electrical wire. Like, I don't understand.
He's such a genius, but he didn't double bag his groceries here.
I also don't buy he
That's a
gets
great
milk and
point.
not chocolate milk. I just don't buy it.
All right, maybe
That kid would buy chocolate milk.
No, they do bag their own groceries. It looks like.
How much money did Buzz have that he stole out of that box?
It was like $40. I think it was $2.20.
Yeah, maybe. I counted more like $25.
Guys, that doesn't buy what's in that cart right now.
It's 1990.
Even in 1990.
All of that is probably like 60 cents.
Okay,
if I understand inflation correctly, I'm pretty sure all of that is 60 cents.
So I'm trying to decide if what you just did is amusing social commentary or like rampant ignorance. But no, food prices have not increased.
Did you
that
not see
much
Back
in
to the Future
1990.
Part 2? Yes, it has.
I'm just saying.
It
I don't
correctly
$25.
predicted the future.
Oh well, he's got coupons, so
This isn't as insane as. Yeah.
Oh, and they give it. Okay, they give us a
They
price.
do give us a price.
Okay,
That's
so
good. Would 1983 buy all that?
I don't know.
That I might buy in
Maybe.
in the 90s.
Maybe.
But
Milk
the coupon.
itself should still be $2 or $3. But anyway, I'm sorry.
But if let's say there was 40, let's say it was 220, which is what I think I saw. He buys pizza, which is probably at least $10. I'm not sure what the
$12.
pizza
He put
inflation was
$12 down. I saw it.
for the pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got to be getting money from somewhere else too. Like,
Or he's
Here
just
goes.
about to be out of
then
it.
it's all gonna fall out.
that's-
Oh, this is why you're saying he should have double bagged his
Yeah.
groceries. Yeah, what an idiot! Look at that.
Though I think there may have been another
lucky-
shop boy at the
He's
end
lucky,
of
he's
the.
lucky they didn't get eggs.
That's true.
One of my favorite tweets I've ever seen.
We're gonna
This
find
thing is
out what
really
some of that
weird.
stuff cost
Why
in
was it so
1990,
big?
guys. So we're gonna find out.
One of my favorite tweets that I've ever seen, and I forget who it was, but it was a famous comic book writer. It might have been Jeff Lemire.
Wait,
It
why
was
did
somebody that's a
the
bigger, more
laundry
modern
suit.
comic writer. He tweeted, it was around like Thanksgiving or Christmas or something, where like he was at his family's house, and he said, "I just watched my mom put half a cup
it says hello,
of."
Kevin.
of-
I
Yes.
never realized.
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. He talks to him.
He says, "I just saw my mom put half a cup of laundry detergent in a machine and run it. I have been living my entire life incorrectly."
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think we get to that way too quickly.
That
Like
house-
now he's not afraid of the basement. He's not going to be afraid of these guys because he's come to find that things aren't as scary as he thought they
He
were.
needed to have the moment where he realizes he
Yeah.
can fight back.
Yes.
He doesn't have that
He doesn't
moment.
have that
He had
moment.
to have-
That's it.
Yeah, he didn't have that.
You got it.
He has no real growth.
Okay, the internet is not telling me the price of Tropicana in 1990.
I never noticed this before until
Try
we
milk.
watched this now.
$1.79
On
This,
milk?
this
in
house,
1991 for Tropicana.
Okay.
the Home Alone
That's about
house.
what I would think it would be now. Maybe
It's
a
like
little bit more than
$2.99, I
that.
think.
Oh, was it that high?
I think
okay.
it
All
is.
right.
I never noticed this
I'm
before.
totally listening to you.
Now, the Home Alone house is way bigger than all the other houses in this entire
Yes,
neighborhood.
It is.
It's insane.
They bought the mansion, but then they moved in and it didn't look like a mansion. So they just cared what it looked like on the outside.
Wow.
Okay, here's what needs to happen to make this all play better.
Was it a gallon or a half gallon?
I don't know.
I believe he got a half gallon.
Did you get a half gallon? Okay, that'd be like $1.50.
That's not bad.
I still don't buy that 2 full bags of stuff, $20 though. I don't.
But it wasn't a lot of stuff. Like, if you count that, he got like 6 things.
Yeah.
Not when we saw it all on the sidewalk.
No, I saw on the sidewalk. He overloaded that.
I thought it was like...
It couldn't be 6 things or it wouldn't have fallen out of the bags like that.
Yeah, but he had milk in one and orange juice in the other.
Again, nitpicking the crap out of
Also, he definitely got bread, and he only had 2 bags, and one of them had milk and one of them had orange juice. He is smushing that bread.
That's true. There's no way around it.
Though I don't know. There looked like there was another shop boy at the end of the thing there. We may be giving him a hard time about this.
What you
Loading
need...
the groceries. He should demand his money back.
The fireworks work theoretically because he puts them in the pot.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just sound like fireworks. But
yes, but it's still the sound of a guy's voice coming through a
Still
speaker.
Yes.
cut his house
but he
fire.
mentioned the fireworks earlier. I'm telling you why the fireworks
Right.
are supposed to work. Okay, what this movie needs is a scene where they try to break in and something accidentally happens that stops them, and that makes the light bulb click where he's like, I can use household objects to defend myself.
Yes. He doesn't get it from anywhere.
Yeah.
Furthermore, it's a little weird that like he's going to the store and he's buying groceries and stuff, but he never buys any of the stuff that he
It's just around the
uses at
house.
the end.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like, oh, look, he's resourceful and stuff, but I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe like the second trip he made, he bought something that ended up coming in handy
He needs
later.
to smack them with aftershave, right? Like, that's how that pays off?
Yeah.
Is he, like, throws aftershave on their
Yeah,
face
what
or
you
something?
don't want is Joe Pesci going, ah! With his hands on his face. Maybe you do want that. Eric wants that.
Yeah.
That's what Eric wants.
So what is
Okay,
Joe
so
Pesci
I'm
known
gonna-
for at this point? Outside of Lethal Weapon
He was
2.
in, like, Raging Bull. He's
Okay.
Some major stuff.
Okay, because I think of Goodfellas as, like, his first, like, really big
He's
thing.
the biggest name in this movie at this time, I want to say. I mean, John Candy's up there, too.
But I don't think they sold on John Candy. Is he in the trailer?
They didn't. No, and John Candy, they got as a favor to John Hughes.
Well, she probably-
he's
Because
working for
this
scale
kind
in
of
this movie.
Right.
kind of spins out of the Uncle Buck.
Yes.
Well, and she knew him, too, from the
Yes.
Second City TV
Oh,
days.
okay.
But yeah, so he did it as a favor. He just got paid scale.
Well, and he's not in it very much.
No. It's so, yeah, I saw that. Look at that.
No,
lady.
but in that special on Netflix, they say that he didn't know he was going to have to work a 23-hour day and maybe wouldn't have done it. Well, I mean, like
But
I
it's
don't
one
think,
23-hour day, right?
Yeah, but like I think he thought he was coming in for mostly a cameo. I don't think he expected to be in as much of it as he was even. But isn't it weird that you get to the end of the movie and all this is kind of pointless?
Yeah, another movie that with the weird John Hughes movie with the weird emotional thing at the end was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which also has John Candy in it.
I saw it for the
never seen
first
that.
time just a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
I've
really?
never seen it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't think that's a weird emotional shift.
I get.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's set up.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
guess
set
they
up
do
and
set it
payoff
up.
thing. It's
Right.
into that.
This is technically set up too, but
Plane, Trains, and
but I mean, they
Automobiles
do.
is-
But
That's a reveal before it's a.
But
like,
I mean, he never does
uh,
straight like comedy. It's always got to have some cathartic thing at the end or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That. That's
Yeah. Even Mr. Mom kind of has that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it resonate more than other comedies, I guess.
Maybe. So.
At the time.
well, the question is always:
Like
is
no
that
show
tacked
kicker.
on, or did we actually build to it?
Yeah.
And I think usually he builds to it. Not always. He's not the greatest writer, but he is a pretty good writer when he was.
Polka, polka.
Pre-Flubber, I think he's got a pretty good...
Flubber.
All of this is fine as long as the family doesn't show up at the end, and they just do that because they want in one scene to have that whole family be impressed with Kevin for the arc he ostensibly went through.
That feels like it could have been like a studio thing, where like originally it was just the mom. Like, no, we need the whole family.
I don't know. I don't think there was a lot of studio oversight of this movie, especially because Fox believed in it and came in, kind of swooped in the middle and took it on. Like, it would be weird if they suddenly started like throwing notes at him.
Well, this is illegal. What they're doing, riding in the back of a budget rental truck like this.
Yes, but in 1990, everybody did that. And I mean, like, I rode in the back of pickup trucks a lot as a kid. Like,
yeah, that was the thing I just assumed people did.
Yep.
Well, and people did do. Like
did.
when I was much
Really?
younger, and then as I started getting older,
My
like,
mom
you
always
just stopped
lectured me.
seeing
She was
it.
like a,
Yep.
a nurse for, and she was
Probably because people kept
telling me,
falling
like, I
out.
saw people.
I
guy
mean,
fall out of
police
it.
started cracking down on it a lot harder. Like, you
Yeah.
will get pulled over for that now. You didn't used to.
I don't know if it's different in smaller towns.
And they wouldn't know about.
Like back in Arkansas, like,
Somebody in the
are they
van
pulling people over
either.
for doing that?
I don't know if they do now. But every time I go down there, it feels like being transported back to 1995. Like, things have not changed much. So, yeah. I'll test it, Eric.
Yeah.
Wait, they
I'll
slept
go back
in
to
the
Morrilton,
car?
Arkansas,
They
and just get in the
slept
back of a
all
pickup
night
truck.
in the car. Are these burglars homeless?
I think I've always thought that. I've always thought that. They have to be homeless. They live
They live in a
in
van.
that just okay plumbing van.
He killed that tree.
That doesn't tell you that. Like that could just be a kid, like a mischievous kid. Like what? That doesn't tell you that there's no adults in that house.
Yeah. He
There's no adults paying attention to him. He has a saw.
Well, why do you say that?
What about that tells you that like there's just a kid in that house? Like he just walked outside, cut down a
one
tree,
child
and
came
scared
outside. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a
that's
heightened universe.
No,
like
that's a good point.
he's great, and
Because they weren't still like suspicious of it after they thought they saw a party there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
When I was a kid, I always remembered
the
that
title of the
bandit
film.
more than Joe Pesci.
Yeah, even though it's Joe Pesci.
Yeah, well, I didn't know who Joe
Daniel,
Pesci
you
was
read-
when I was a kid.
Well, that guy's Daniel Stern. He's been in a lot of stuff.
I was
too.
going to ask, I know him from Bushwhacked. I saw
He's
that as
the
a
voice
kid.
of Kevin on the Wonder Years, the adult Kevin.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
But yeah,
originally he turned this part down. And then the guy that they replaced him with didn't have good chemistry with Joe Pesci, so they went back to him, and he agreed to do it finally.
I wanted you to tell me that it was Hugh Laurie, and he was always disappointed he couldn't play this, and that's why he was in 101
That would have
Dalmatians.
been amazing. I don't know.
Because
who
I
that guy
always
was.
thought Hugh Laurie was that guy when I was a kid.
But they
Hugh
were
Laurie
actually-
was in 101 Dalmatians.
He's one of the two bandits.
Yeah.
The Disney movie.
Yeah, and I always thought it was that guy when I was a kid. I was
That's
like, oh, he
really
played the
funny.
same role.
But yeah, they were friends in real life already,
Oh, interesting.
and that's part of why their chemistry works so well. Because however you think about how they're written, like they have great on-screen chemistry.
I would have assumed that a lot of their dialogue was improv, but because like
Yeah,
a lot of things
apparently
he
is
says
not.
seems improv.
Well, John Hughes has that thing where he doesn't want anybody to go off book at all.
That's true.
'cause He wants his scripts to be
That's true.
perfectly translated, and he only let John Candy ad-lib because he's John Candy. Mm-hmm. And so he purposefully didn't write all that scene. Is
Okay.
the sense
Okay.
I
What do you
get.
think they do with this little building? For
I
the
like
rest
the
of
scene.
Year? What do you think?
I actually that's a good question. I actually wish we did more with this. Well, maybe it's portable.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe it's like a prefab.
It's a prefab thing. But yeah, I always wish we did a little bit more with the smoking Santa Claus in this scene. But I like the scene a lot.
I feel like she should be smoking. She looks like some.
I have a question.
She should.
He's not doing anything all day.
The only reason she's not that's why she's chewing gum. She's trying to stop
the
smoking.
Nicorette.
That's right. It's Nicorette.
He's not doing anything all day. Why is he late?
Like the
Why does he not show up
Santa's Honda
until
Civic here.
they're closed? What else is he doing?
And why would you wait till after dark if you're worried about burglars?
Yeah, why would you leave
I
your
think this guy's
house?
somewhere before too. I don't
So
know
that
where.
this scene can have this guy trying to get in his car for some reason.
He's got a party to go to.
I also think that one of the things that really works about this movie and
he
makes it
just told the
feel
stranger his address.
It'd be great if he showed up at his address for some reason and then help beat up the bullies. That'd be great. Where it's like, and then people would be like, well, how did that Santa Claus show up at his house? Oh, he gave him his address.
And then he just takes potential poison from a stranger here.
It's not a stranger, it's Santa. But I think part of what makes this movie so eerie when you're a kid is so much of it is at night.
He looks so trusting. Okay,
Like a
He looks
lot
so
of this
trustworthy.
movie is at night.
Yeah, you're right. I think that coupled with some of the haunting score.
Some new candy I got here.
And it doesn't get brought up
Molly.
that much as a John Williams score, but like it's a really good score,
because it's brilliant and
not like
has
his other things.
the best version, the best instrumental version of Jingle of the Bell or of
Carol of the
Carol of the
Bells.
Bells. Yep. That that I've heard in a movie. You know what? You didn't quite ruin that scene for me, Eric. But
I'm
you
right.
made some really good points. I still really like that scene. Well, I like that he's like, you're talking to Santa, you got to get something. And then
Which is not a thing.
Right.
You don't usually get things when you sit on Santa's lap. Maybe a picture if your parents
or
pay
maybe
for
you
it.
do.
Maybe
You know,
people
maybe a
candy
candy
cane.
cane.
Maybe
Maybe a
you
candy
do if
Crap no
it's
one
like
wants.
a prefab Santa house.
Candy canes with
Because
candy
I've only
corn.
been to like mall Santas, Eric. I've never gone to a building that was just for Santa. I don't know what
I've
they
never
do
seen
there.
that
Up
before.
near my mom in Colorado Springs, there's a whole Santa town that I want
Really?
to go to.
That's odd.
And I think it stays open all year round, but like there's a whole Santa town up there that I haven't gone to
But like
yet.
Santa is not there until like right before
I don't
Christmas.
know, but it's like a little
Just have it
Christmas
there all the
town,
time.
and I think it's open all year. I think that's the
I used to
impression
go
I
to
got.
Santa. It was at
That's
Crown-
pretty cool.
Yeah.
You should totally go there and take
Yeah.
pictures.
Center, and you had to like crawl through this weird like maze to
I
get
haven't been to
Santa.
Crown Center in forever. People tell me it's not nearly as cool as it used to be.
It was never cool. It was weird.
I almost like Crown Center. Okay, so
Half of its halls now.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad when I say this, but that's where I proposed to my wife. So screw you, sir. Have I ever told you that?
No.
This is related
It's
to Christmas.
okay at Christmas.
This is related to Christmas, so I will tell this story.
Yeah.
I proposed to my wife close to Christmas. It was like November.
That's a Crown Center's acceptable then.
And it's acceptable then.
Nobody
and,
from outside of Kansas City is going to know what the heck we're talking
No, they're not gonna know what we're
about.
talking about. But it was around Christmas, and I proposed on the ice skating rink.
Okay. That's acceptable. That's a cool part.
Yeah,
I'm talking about where they used to have the cat store. And things like that.
the cat store. They had a Crayola crayon store.
They still
I
have
want to
that.
believe that's
still
a
there.
store run by cats. They like wobble over and they like press
They used to have this
register
weird,
buttons.
like, they would have these videos, like, they were
They had
like,
an amazing Italian
cats
restaurant there.
singing, where they would take, like, meows, and they would go, like,
Really?
sing Christmas music.
like that
Like,
old
meow,
cat
meow,
food
meow,
commercial.
Meow, 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 meow. Yes,
like
exactly
the old
like
cat
that.
food
Go.
So what is your Home Alone story?
Oh.
You said that you had to tell
So
us
the last
Home
time
Alone
I watched
story.
this was on
Wait, you're gonna tell
Thanksgiving.
this story during this scene?
Oh, should I wait till later?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Alright,
almost
we'll wait till
over.
later.
Why? I guess this whole bandits thing.
We'll wait
The
till
movie's
later.
not almost
Yeah,
over.
well, it's just this is like the. So I want to talk about this for a minute
It's the
because
Daredevil scene.
this is the Daredevil scene. So this is the scene where he talks to. It wasn't that funny. So this is the scene where he
It's funny
talks to
to
the
me.
scary old man. See, look, he immediately looks less creepy.
He's
But that's not a
watching
creepy
the
look
Dead
anymore.
No, he's sad.
See, yeah, he changes it as soon as the movie decides that it's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just for the audience's benefit.
Or it's Kevin's perception.
No, I'm not buying all
It
that.
could be POV.
I don't think so.
He sees him in a vulnerable place and he sees him how he really
He's
is. For the
looking
first
at
time.
him. See?
That would be that's a cool read. I don't buy it.
He's also more confident now. Now that is a light switch change, but he is now defending his house, Kevin.
Yeah, the thing is, if we only had the kind of weirder shots when it's in like more surreal kind of shots, when it's from his perspective, that's cool. But it's hard to have that read when the movie's just doing that everywhere, whether Kevin's even in the scene or not. Like,
Are there scenes with him where Kevin's not there? Because they're looking through the window and then there's him at the store. Are there other scenes?
I guess like when they're
like,
lurking about in their van.
yeah,
Okay.
like with the
Or
wet
when
bandits.
they're outside.
And-
Also,
the
this
house.
seems like
Yeah.
a guy that would notice that and like
I mean,
take
that's
care
true.
of the
Most of the
bandits.
more
Yeah,
well,
why he's home? Why didn't he call the police on these guys?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he's gonna save the day at
He
the
does
end.
at the
But
end.
you're right. No,
But
I
he
guess
seems like a guy that takes no crap.
Now,
Like that's a
in-
guy that has a shotgun and is ready
Yes,
for
the
bandits.
shovel slayer.
He's the shoveler. He shovels well. He shovels very
To
well.
your point from a minute ago, though, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess there's not a lot of weird shots when Kevin's not in them. But it doesn't feel like his POV a lot to me.
I'm
I
just
don't
playing
know.
devil's advocate. I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid.
I don't know. I want it to be that. I just don't know if I buy it. But anyway, so
Maybe it was written that way, but Chris Columbus didn't shoot.
I'm so conflicted about this scene because I think it's incredibly well written. I think this is the best scene in the movie writing wise, and it does kind of feel like, I don't want to say tacked on, but it does have that thing that we were talking about earlier, Adam, where it's like it's got to be here to give this movie some credibility, and like if this scene wasn't here, this movie is not a Christmas classic. But at the same time, it absolutely has to be here, or this movie isn't really about anything.
Right.
And I like the payoff at the end when he has his son over. who he was estranged from and was afraid to call. And I like the way Kevin gets him to do that. Like, I do really buy this kid getting this guy to get his relationship back together with his son and all that. So, like, it's not emotionally manipulative or anything.
Right.
It just kind of comes out of nowhere where, like, I didn't think it was this kind of movie, and now it's this kind of movie. And I think John Hughes thinks that it's not totally out of nowhere because we've got all these scenes with the mother, like, worrying about her son, and so he thinks there's already enough heart there. But that all feels like just justification for the premise to me.
So, the Catholicism's numbers have been dropping for decades, right? Like attendance for, like, church and things like that. This scene, we have scenes like this a lot. Mm-hmm. Two people in pews at a Catholic church with candles everywhere. Yeah, we do it a lot in movies.
Mass going on right now, it looks like.
There is going to be a point in time where it will not be believable, and we will keep using this scene like it's normal, like we use orphanages, which haven't existed for 100 years.
Well,
it'll be another 100 years before that happens. Like, the Catholic Church still has, enough attendance that
I feel like there should be more
like
people in this. This is like Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's really weird that nobody's here.
Yeah.
Especially because there's, like...
And there's always nobody there when they go in those scenes, too. That's like the classic... There's a scene like this in Highlander.
Time,
Yeah, there's this big choral performance. Like, how is his daughter not... Or how is his granddaughter not like... hey, why are you talking through my performance?
Yeah, you're yakking at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
I also think this scene was ripped off for a lot of other kids' movies after this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, now it's a sentimental scene between a, like gruff older person and a young kid.
That's a really good point. It's hard to put yourself back in the time and place with this movie because it's been so influential. But, like, I don't think this movie feels formulaic when it comes out.
You're probably right.
But this is absolutely a formula that other movies do after it. And that the sequel also does.
The sequel does too much.
Yeah, the sequel's the exact same movie.
That bird lady thing is unnecessary.
It's like Back to the Future 2 and 3 if on top of all of the same scenes, they also made the same plot.
How is that bird lady living in Carnegie Hall
and
not getting arrested? She's like squatting in that building.
Yeah, nobody seems to think she smells bad or anything. Like, I don't know what her secret is, but...
Nobody goes up there?
I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
No. Well, I actually was going to say something and then talk myself out of it before I finish, so that's good. Oh, that's right! Bandits are trying to get into my house!
Yeah,
I have to get home! It's nighttime!
This screams like, forget all this heartfelt stuff, we're in the third act now!
Bandits come at night, I forgot!
That is not a good transition.
Now it's Under Siege. Now it's Die Hard.
I don't buy anything he goes out and does at night.
You ever seen Under Siege?
I think I saw it like once.
My wife and I, that is one of Sarah and mine's like movie. Like the I think second or third week we were dating, she wanted to show me that movie. There's a guy in that we call Meat Guy.
Meat Guy.
Yeah.
Look at this. He spent all his time drawing this
I was listening to
elaborate
something
map.
about
How do you
Die
have time
Hard.
to
They
do
just
anything?
ran off a list of because after Die Hard became a genre.
I had a lot of Micro Machines on.
And Under Siege got brought up on that. They're like, oh, it's Die Hard on the train, and then Die Hard on a submarine. And
that's right.
Speed's Die Hard on the bus.
So
Speed's good.
Speed is good.
I haven't gone back to Speed in a long time, but I remember loving it.
Decent.
And
Tommy Lee Jones is
I always
hilarious
wonder
in
what
that.
this thing is. I had to look it up.
That was actually the thing that they said was like that's what moved Steven Seagal from B-movie actor to for a time kind of an A-list star.
I mean, I think it was like 8 months,
So,
but yeah.
Until Under Siege 2.
Right.
So that thing he puts on the door handle. I thought that was like an engine block heater, but it's actually an electric charcoal starter. That's why it was on the grill.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I always just assumed he superheated, but it wouldn't stay hot.
Yeah. Okay, I think now would be a really good time for your story, Adam.
Okay. So I just watched this.
I really want to believe that this story is Adam defended his house as a child.
No, you already know about it.
Well, it's really not that long.
Okay.
So I just watched this movie over Thanksgiving, and then literally right after I finished watching it, I stepped on a nail that had come up out of the floor.
And he put a nail through his foot.
Put it through my foot.
The day he watched Home Alone.
The day I watched it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The odds of that.
And I went to the urgent care, and they were like, oh yeah, it's a 7-hour wait. I'm like, what? A 7-hour
Was this Canada?
wait? People talk about socialized medicine taking long waits.
Okay, look, this is too political for Geekvolution. Okay? You can't say that on this channel.
So I went to another one.
Oh wait, no, we're trying to seem less for kids. Yes, go for it. All the politics.
And then, I went to the other one. They're like, okay, yeah,
you can't get me, Kappa.
You have to get here in the next 15 minutes, or we're not going to see you. And I'm like, oh.
What did you make? Is that spaghetti?
What are we? It's macaroni.
Oh, it's macaroni. You don't use a knife for macaroni. It's ridiculous.
Wait. What are we like buying something off the Home Shopping Network?
That's
like
what they said.
You better get this. You better get here the next 15 minutes.
They're like, we're closing at 4, but it's 2:45 now, but we're not going to see anybody after.
So wait, I can't remember. Sorry, did the Wet Bandits say when they didn't know he was listening what time they would be there?
How does he know what time they're showing up?
Like, did they say something about it?
Because, yeah, I think they did. Okay. I think they.
Because that's the only way this makes any sense.
When they were yakking outside his window there.
I still don't think I'd be going to church and all that. Like, I think I'd make sure I had enough time
to set everything up.
Drawing that plan.
Yeah,
I had time to do anything.
I think it would have made more sense if he already had it all set up. So when he got back from the church, we see the plan, and he's just like looking over everything. That's probably how that should have played out. Maybe he did it all day long. And he should have gone to church, like, praying he wouldn't die.
Well, one of his parents are mad that he destroyed their house while he was gone.
I like the idea of just coming up and being like, look, you know that we're bandits. Just let us in and we won't hurt you. Like, we'll just steal your stuff. Like, just being, like, real, just, like, chill
this
about
house, like, goes
and would you
way
believe, I don't know if you remember this, that even that they do exactly the same in the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
That when they go to the toy store, he's like,
CGI shot, I'm pretty sure.
He's like, look, I know that you have all these traps set up, but we can stop all this right now, and I'll let you go, and it's fine. Like, even that they redid exactly the same.
Yeah.
That scene is pretty funny though when he's throwing bricks and they hit Marv every time. That's actually pretty funny.
I did figure out how you can make all your videos not for kids while still keeping a family-friendly tone. I figured it out just now as we were talking.
Oh no! What?
You just you just open every video or close every video by like talking about like stock exchanges and like. Well, clearly it's not for children. I'm talking about stocks.
Did you get that from AVGN?
No, he just said something about stocks, and it made me think. I was like, "That's something that kids don't like. It doesn't require profanity."
In the Superman NES game, where people are talking about the stock market, that's what kids want to hear about in the Superman game: the stock market.
But no, just talk about the stock market in videos, and that immediately makes it not for kids.
Well, maybe I told you this. Somebody suggested that I put the Billy Kincaid teddy bear in every video.
I don't think that makes it not for kids. It's like I don't know.
But it's like this gruesome teddy bear.
But have you seen kids' toys lately?
Are they freaky?
Well, they don't have blood all over them with like.
I guess they don't have blood, but
and
like,
also
there's those like scary bear things where like it looks cute and cuddly and then it becomes scary.
He should just climb up in the landscaping.
But you'd have a pretty good case in front of a judge where you'd be like, "Look, this is a reference to this scene in this Spawn comic."
But you read it as a kid.
They don't have to know that.
You made a whole series where you talk about it.
I could also point them to the live show where everybody freaked out and thought it was absolutely horrifying when I showed that bear.
They can say you have a childish audience.
Look at this. He's doing a really bad job of breaking this open. He was like hitting the door.
What you're saying is I'm getting sued. That's what you're saying.
He was hitting the door frame with
I'm just saying you should say $40,000.
Like actually pushing on the door to open it. Do you see that?
That's per video, though. If they get me for one, they'll try to get me for a bunch more. Sorry, what?
Is that he was pushing on just like gouging the door frame with his crowbar instead of actually putting leverage on the door to break it open.
Well, any dumb thing Marv does, you can chalk up to, look, he's Marv.
Yeah,
he's
it
dumb.
worked. It got him in.
Oh, yeah.
What if he played Marv in Sin City?
Well, he probably would have needed, to bulk up a little bit and... Ow! My head.
You know what scene needs to be in this movie, or like a post-credit scene? Back when post-credit scenes were just like gags. There's like a trap that didn't go off, and someone sets it off after they've gotten home.
That would have been great, and like Kevin forgot about it.
The little blonde girl that says he's listening Compedon.
Yeah, and then we find out she's like, that's great. And it should have been like the really obvious thing, right? It should have just been bucket of water over a door.
No, set somebody's hair on fire.
He got
we do that already.
In this cartoony universe.
But we already do that.
Look at this. He got that from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That would have been cool if he was watching a bunch of different movies to get ideas.
See? Yeah, that's what they should have
Because that's exactly how they put out Raiders of the Lost Ark, too.
Yeah.
Well, what I might have done would have been to not even show them all.
It is on his
They are
hand
rich enough that...
Isn't it still on his hand in the second movie?
Yes, he still got it.
They are... Well, that's nice. I wouldn't necessarily expect that from a kind of cash-grabby sequel.
Is it tar?
It is very cash-grabby.
But... Why do they just have tar around?
This is also really hard to watch.
A lot of the things that he uses, I thought would be...
I can't watch it. I can't watch this part.
It doesn't even really go in.
I know. I don't know why. It's just really hard to look at that. Just
but
imagining.
A lot of the things that he uses as household items, maybe it was different before I was born, because this movie came out before I was born, but these are not household items. A lot of
work.
Yeah, and this...
Well, it sure doesn't look like it from the outside.
Their door handles are monogrammed M for McAllister.
That's a really good point.
Like, this is the kind of stuff that you have in an
They're not on a farm!
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff you have in a house that's like, being worked on. That's a better reason to leave!
Yeah, that's why...
Is if the house is under construction.
Movie, that made sense, because all that... They were doing that renovation and all that, yeah. Well, we're still going off about a movie where the guy just got his head burned. So, I mean, we can't really go...
Going back to something I was talking about earlier, I think it's important to note that, like, you know, I was talking about how I can't decide how realistic or cartoony sometimes this movie wants to be. Part of the reason it's difficult with the first two acts is that this third act clearly is a cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not saying... So this is not me saying, oh, they don't know how far they're going here. No, they do. They intentionally looked at cartoons to decide how to pace this stuff.
That makes perfect sense. Well, and the hair on fire specifically, I feel like I feel people... I've heard people bring up as, like, a example of the movie not being, like, good. Like, well, that's insane. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a cartoon. It's a live-action cartoon.
Yeah. But it also wants to have, like, some heart and some truth. And I'm not saying you can't do that in a really super cartoony thing.
It's amazing this movie works at all.
Yeah, exactly. But when John Hughes was originally pitching the premise, it didn't sound like a super goofy comedy. It was what would happen if you left a kid home alone, and then, you know, a lot of people in Hollywood were like, "Oh man, that's genius! I don't know why nobody's thought of that. Like, I don't know why that hasn't
except
been
for
made."
that one French guy.
That apparently that happened. Yeah. And so the reason that the biggest reason Siskel and Ebert gave it such a negative review is that they wanted that movie. And they thought John Hughes would have been great to write that movie. Mm-hmm. Well, so like, how come he went as surface as he did with it?
Well, in movies, in the movies that made us, they say that it sounds like maybe his first draft was that movie, and then Chris Columbus rewrote it. Ooh. And then John Hughes rewrites that
said,
draft.
though, it's really hard to tell how much he rewrote. Okay, he's an idiot for stepping on these.
I know.
Like, he knows it's all there.
Still
Anybody instinctively would have walked over the rest of them.
I didn't understand when I was a kid why those were like that, because I'd always just had plastic ornaments growing up. I didn't understand that those were like glass.
You know what? I had the same thing. I also didn't have glass ornaments.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I also wondered about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I should bring this movie up. Have you guys ever watched Dennis the Menace?
Yes.
That movie,
I
did not like
in a long time, but yes.
At it disturbed me as a kid when
it's disturbing.
When Christopher Lloyd,
I watched it, and I watched it so many times as a kid, and I don't know why. Like, my mom just kept putting it on, and like it always bothered me, but we kept watching it.
Isn't Christopher Lloyd the creepy guy?
Yes, he's the creepy guy, and he takes that kid's apple, and
that
that scene really disturbed me for some reason. I don't know why.
He's really creepy. That.
Why
you remember he's eating beans.
I'm really bothered by this now. I can't unsee it. Why did they have all of this stuff in this house?
Yeah.
It's a super nice, like, well-to-do household.
And see, doesn't that go to my point that you should have bought some things?
Yeah.
It's old.
I mean, I get that he only had like $25, but all you had to do was say that there was more money in that stash, or have him find money somewhere else in the house. Like, he could have gotten money from somewhere.
Maybe this leftover.
These people are rich.
I also think it's weird that he doesn't ask his.
It's all checks in the bank account.
Sure, but you could see like a cash stash somewhere that his dad has for something.
Yeah, they would have had a lot of cash back in the 90s.
Well, I think a lot of families keep at least a little cash in a drawer somewhere just in case cash comes up. I mean.
Exactly. And this is before everyone.
Don't go looking for it, but we do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in case.
Well, and
Like,
this is
it
before
comes in
everyone
handy
is
if you,
using
like-
a card exclusively. Like,
Yeah.
more people
Yeah.
are using cash back then.
Right. Yeah, my dad carried around.
But even in this day and age, it comes in handy if like you need to pay a babysitter
Right.
or there's stuff inside the house that you might
Tip
want
a
to
pizza
Right.
guy.
tip a pizza guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now that I usually do credit card.
But yeah. But I don't like to
You know,
tip.
we didn't go back to that spider as much as you
They
were
didn't show it as
suggesting.
much, but they did show it a couple of times.
Yeah, they did.
I don't like to tip
How did they kill that spider?
pizza guys with
Or
the
any
credit
animal.
card because you don't know how fast or slow it's going to be.
No. You do it after they get there. You write the number in the.
This-
Oh, I
It's
guess that's
it's
true.
like it's
I
like
guess
tipping at a
that's true.
restaurant.
I guess
Kevin's
that's true.
lucky this didn't fail.
You
know?
always put the tip in after.
Yeah. Well, a lot of ones now when you like order ahead of time, it gives you the option ahead of time.
Yeah, but you just don't take that option.
Yeah,
you can still
yeah.
write it when they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
What if this failed?
That's the only
and
reason
he
they have a
died?
pen now.
Was this always here?
What?
Yes.
This like air unicycle thing,
What's air?
zip line, the
Zip line.
Well,
No,
it's not a
no,
traditional zip line.
Air
No, he
unicycle.
set it up.
He set it up.
That's too far. I don't believe a kid can set this
I
up.
know, and he's really lucky he doesn't die. What if he died in this the end of the movie?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of
Why
that,
did he hit the spider, not just flick it off?
everybody should watch the Legal Eagle video on this because it's really funny.
Is that one of the lawyers
Sure.
talks about?
Yeah, and he talks about all the illegal things they do, and then he tries to guess how many years in prison they'd get at the
is
end.
a lot.
And it's great. Kevin gets off scot-free, which is hilarious.
He was defending his house.
Yeah.
It was a castle doctrine. Stand
But
your
he talks
ground.
about
Yeah.
that, and he talks about that, and he talks about whether or not you can do that in the state. He's really thorough about it. But he talks about child abandonment and whether or not the
mom would go to jail?
The parents would go to jail.
Excellent.
I love how we're just putting it all on the mom. Like the dad is also
He doesn't care. He's not pretending
that would
that
make
he's not a bad
more
parent.
likely that he goes to jail longer.
She at least made the effort.
Yeah.
That's just what he's.
I
expecting
recently
us to
watched-
say.
But like he says that Kevin's stealing the toothbrush. Yeah, that's great. Treehouse.
This is even dumber. Why would
Because
you
in
do
1990,
this?
nobody asked
Why
someone-
would you do this?
No, it's ridiculous.
Then
But
you,
yeah, he
you
mentions
know what the pathway to get out of the house.
he says that if Kevin stole that toothbrush, it's probably just a misdemeanor, and that's like the only thing that even came close to getting him jail time, but it doesn't get him jail time, and it's great.
I heard a thing recently about how cell phones have messed with petty crime laws because
Interesting.
because cell phones are easy to take and pocket, which makes them like normal petty crime items, but because of how expensive they are, you can steal a cell phone and go to jail, even though it's an item that's easy to grab and
Interesting.
yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, because it's basically like stealing a computer at this point.
Yeah. I recently around Halloween I rewatched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the thing I did not remember about that movie is all of the kills in that movie happen because people wander into Leatherface's house. And I'm pretty sure, at least in some states, everything he does is above board as defending his home.
That's hilarious.
I did not remember that movie was people just wandering into his house.
It just depends on what state you're in.
Yeah,
And what
and
year
that's
it
in
is.
Texas, and I'm pretty
Yep.
sure in Texas, Leatherface is legally
Yeah, you could shoot
is
somebody just for
legally sound.
they're being on their lawn and on your lawn, and you don't want them there. If they're like actually trespassing.
They walk
I
into
think.
his house.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, in that case, then it's true, yeah. Now, obviously, the question is, why didn't you do that in the first place? Especially because he called for pizza.
Well, he called them earlier, but it is after a series of traps. I don't know why he doesn't lead with it.
Yeah.
Well,
So the cops are there
Could he
sooner.
get in trouble for this? Breaking and entering.
Yeah, and that was in that Legal Eagle video.
Okay.
He does mention breaking it in.
Why is it flooding? Did he set that up?
No, it's the Wet
Because-
Bandits. This is the house they went in
yes.
earlier.
Oh, okay.
Because he mentions that there's an argument for
Look, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I've actually never seen that.
It is PG.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Weird.
It is all implied, and it is one of the most masterful things I've ever seen as far as tension
finally
and
watched
not
that.
seeing things. it is uncomfortable to watch.
But yeah, there's an argument for self-defense and for protecting your own home inside his house. But of course, once he goes into this other person's house, now more bets are
But
off.
why did he go in now? Why didn't he get involved earlier?
But
So
you
that
could also
he can
argue
save
this
the
house
day.
is already a crime scene. It's already been. I don't know how that works.
Wait.
You know?
Is that his house? Did they already rob him?
No, that was the other family, the Murphy family.
That's what I thought.
They left,
so why
yeah.
does he wait? He knows things are happening and he doesn't go in until it's...
I know. I don't understand why he waits that long.
Yeah,
and why he doesn't notice until they're in that other house,
why didn't he
which
go
they're
in
in for
there?
a fraction of the time they're in the McAllister's house.
Up. Yeah.
And he's neighbors
and the bandits
with
are
both
like
of them.
screaming. Like the wet bandits aren't quiet. Like
And like,
they're
isn't
making a
he
ruckus.
across the lawn from both of those
Yeah,
houses?
he
He's
did-
not adjacent
How
to
come he
either of
didn't
them.
see them
So he would
crashing?
notice both of
Right.
those
I
things.
think that's his house on the left, right? Like because they look out the window at him, which makes me think he's right next
I
to
thought
them.
it was across the street.
They look across
Maybe
the
it's across the
street.
street. I'm
He
not
was
sure.
in the car.
In the second movie, they're the sticky bandits, right? They
Yeah.
they
Sticky
put
bandits.
gum places. Is that it?
No,
It's gum?
he puts
crap on his glove
tape
and he
stuff all over his
steals
glove,
from a
and then he
Santa.
steals.
He steals from a
Yeah,
Salvation Army Santa.
and then he's like, "Good job, you just robbed like 13 cents." That's really good. I have a theory that because I was 6 or 7, so I wouldn't remember like what Christmas music was popular before this movie came out. But I have a theory that a lot of the songs in this movie weren't as big as they are now, and then got popular again at Christmas because of this movie.
Maybe.
You would have to go watch other Christmas movies that came out a couple of years before this to see on that. I would think.
I mean, I'm talking about like becoming more popular in playing in like stores and the radio and stuff.
Well, but if they're already getting regular play in other movies, I wouldn't think so. But I don't know.
She's
I
bad
thought we cut back to John Candy way more than this.
No, this is all he gets, and it still took the 23-hour day.
He's sitting down. It's not the worst 23-hour day.
Yeah. But he's sitting in the back of a budget.
Well, I mean,
It's gonna be a set. You
Not
don't know if
saying-
it's actually a truck.
I'm not saying they complained. Yeah, it looks
He's
like a
still
truck.
sitting on the floor,
No, that's
dude.
a truck. Yeah. So you see how that's a truck?
Yeah. That's a different shot. John Candy
I
could
feel
not
like
be in that
that's
truck. That could be a
to
set.
have
shot. That
a
was-
giant tuba on top of you.
If they made it now and Disney made it, which I guess they're doing, they would be in separate rooms. They would green screen the background. They would green screen the code on them.
You
know,
wouldn't even have to do it.
I
Yeah,
see.
they'd film it in like 2 separate
No, that's if
countries.
Zack Snyder directed it. He's like, we don't need a real
Here,
code.
read these lines. This is what you're acting against. This little ball I'm holding
I'm
here.
supposed to pretend like I'm wearing a coat.
Yeah, pretend like you wear it.
You know, like Zod and Man of Steel.
So
Like,
that's
wait, I have to pretend like I have armor on.
we're gonna-
I have this big, bulky armor I'm walking around in.
And
Okay.
we'll just CGI after facial hair.
All right. But that is kind of filler, man. Like,
It's
Yeah, that's random.
this is an obvious thing to say. We are remiss for not having John Candy longer.
I know.
So
You just
the
think of
movie, I'm
all
gonna bring
the-
it down at the end.
You just think
but-
of all the comedies we could have made better with him.
Yeah.
The 2000s needed him
Yeah.
bad.
Or he would have gone like the dark route, where like he's just in a bunch of bad movies, and like now we're like,
Like a
remember when
Robin
he used to be
Williams.
good?
Yeah.
Or,
Like
yeah, I
Robin
was going to say,
Williams.
or he would have gone the Robin Williams route and been in more like, scary movies and stuff. Like,
John
1
Candy
hour
has one
photo, starring John Candy.
John Candy's in Christopher Nolan's not Inception, Insomnia.
Oh. Just so now that you've seen the red and green thing, it just makes you want to throw up, right?
Yes,
Like,
it's too much. No, I cannot.
And he's wearing red and green.
He's so...
Okay, I have a theory that fixes now what is my biggest problem with this movie.
okay.
They're so rich that they literally just redecorated the house for Christmas, and they will paint over it again
They just do
later.
the wallpaper.
Wait, you're
It's
saying
all
they
new
put up
wallpaper.
Christmas
They put up
wallpaper
Christmas
for
wallpaper.
30 days of the
Yes,
year?
that's
Yes,
how rich.
that's what
Look
they
at
did.
that house.
That's how rich they are.
I
They
think
have
you a point.
monogrammed doorknobs.
They have Christmas everything. Yeah.
Okay, my mom and dad have a door knocker that says their name on it. I think that's
That is a stone
Are they
door
filthy
handle
rich?
that has
No.
a big
Are
M
your
on
parents
it.
filthy rich? And do they change their wallpaper for
No,
the
they don't do
season?
that.
Do they have like pumpkin wallpaper when it's Halloween time.
Or I guess it can't be stone, it's metal. It's metal.
Hey, let me ask you a question. If I go to your parents' house, I gotta ask you this. If I go to your parents' house and I lick the wallpaper, do the snozberries taste like snozberries?
Yeah, I'm going with the theory that they're rich enough that they've redecorated this house.
That's got to be what's going on.
And that's why there's all that redecoration equipment in
all
the
the
basement.
Painting, yeah.
Oh, that would be the reason they do it every year.
And the
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's now my biggest problem with
They
this
also
movie.
re-roofed
And my
the
theory
house in the
fixes it.
middle of winter.
And, I just think the production design lends a lot of credence to your theory, Eric. Like, I want to say it's not in the movie. It's kind of in the movie. Like, the fact that there's tar there, plus this much elaborate Christmas decoration... Boy, you're really onto something.
Why did they even bother putting all this up if they weren't even going to be in town for
That's
Christmas?
how rich they are! It doesn't matter!
It was real last minute.
They're not even enjoying it with last minute trip to France.
That's how rich they are!
Oh,
They can take
yeah.
last minute trips to France.
It makes you want to see a movie in the same continuity in this house that takes place during, like, Easter or something.
Which would have
And
been
see
the
what-
obvious thing to do with a sequel.
pastel.
It shouldn't have been
It's
Christmas
you know
again.
what
It shouldn't have
look
been
like?
Christmas again.
It'll look like one of those 90s McDonald's with the weird pastel color schemes and stuff.
Yeah,
remember
just
those?
call it... Yes. Just call it, like, Home Alone Again or something.
Yeah.
And, yeah, if it's gotta be Kevin again, just come up with some kind of other plot, but, like, he's Home Alone again, but a different time of year. And, like... They just went, oh, we've got to make the exact same movie, but
And a
make
Christmas
it
movie.
grander.
You don't even
and
have
a
to do
Christmas
that.
movie.
Like, have it be like, let's say it's Halloween, the parents are at like a thing, and you just have to make them not at the house.
But don't go on vacation or
yeah.
something, right?
Yeah, don't
Like,
forget
the-
him again. Just have it be another
Understand-
situation where he's home alone.
The title makes no sense if we go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's
He
why
doesn't
I added
even
Lost in New
too.
York.
But it's Lost.
It's so dumb. He doesn't even protect, like, the hotel or something. He has to go to a toy store. Like, there's no home anything.
Do you think that the Home Alone 2 or Home Alone 3 is better? That was like a debate.
I mean, from my
on the
memories,
internet.
3 is
Home Alone
3
3 is
superior.
technically a better movie. I don't think it's as well made as 2, but I couldn't be.
One, it's direct to video.
Yep.
I thought
That's
Home
why
Alone-
it couldn't be.
Home
I-
Alone
I
3
was-
was in the theaters. I swear to God, I saw that.
We're
gonna find
am
that out. I
almost
thought that was-
positive
I
it's-
thought that was
it's
I
direct
thought
to
the
video.
fourth one
You know
was
what?
direct to video.
He's right about that. I will look it up to make sure. But yeah, 4 and 5 were direct to video. 3 actually did go to the
I
theater.
thought 3 was direct to video. I
Do
certainly
you think
see
John
it in
Hughes
video.
would write a video?
I think he writes 4.
Well, then he would write a video.
Look it up. I'm pretty sure he writes not just 3, but I think he also
All I have
writes
to do is
4.
write box office, because if
I
it
remember
has a
just not
box
liking
office,
it as a kid.
it has a
That's all I
box
remember.
office.
So it's like,
It made $79 million
yeah.
Okay, so it definitely went to theaters.
against a $32 million budget, so it actually was sort
Look
of
up if
successful.
John Hughes wrote 4.
So it had like the Stuart Little kid in it. Is that who was?
Yes,
in the...
that's who it was. Yeah,
That's who's in 4? Or sorry,
the
in
3.
3?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
Yeah.
He's also in
he's
Jerry
all right.
Maguire.
Wait, no, it wasn't
he did not
him.
write 4.
Okay.
Wait, was it
Okay.
the Stuart? Was
Yeah,
it,
I know he wrote 3, but I wasn't.
Was
sure.
that that kid?
Stuart Little is Jerry Maguire.
That's the Jerry Maguire kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Then maybe it's not that same kid.
Who was also on the Jeff Foxworthy show.
I thought it was that kid, but let me look.
That's the kid's name, like Jonathan Lipinski or whatever.
I am not sure.
Oh, this scene is also really heartwarming. I like this part.
Yes. Did you do to my brew? I like all the.
That wasn't me, it was the bandits.
So they had the that legal guy analyzing. Did he do Home Alone 2? Would Kevin go to jail for all the massive credit card fraud that he engaged in? That
that's
film?
right. Alexander Linz was the kid in 3.
Alex Linz.
I don't think
And
that's
I've heard that name. That's not the same kid. Yeah,
It's not.
But what was he in besides?
He was the kid in the Cable Guy.
the cable guy.
And
Oh.
he was a kid in the Cable Guy. Okay, I actually don't know what he
Cable
is.
Guy
in
is
that.
a movie I remember when I was a kid. Everyone talking about how awful it was,
guess it
and
was
that has
in
completely
India.
gone away.
That
Everyone
movie
remembers that as
Goes back
the
and
Lost
forth. It's
Gem.
so weird. Like,
Oh, now we're gonna watch
sometimes
Home
when I
Alone
see it,
2
I like
Lost in New
it.
York. Here we go.
And no. He's not been in anything else I've ever seen.
Okay, so he is not the Stuart Little kid.
Nope.
I didn't think so.
Nope.
Did you have a talk
I was
boy?
wrong about that too.
Did you have a talk boy when you were a kid?
No, I didn't.
I had a talk
But I
boy.
wanted one just like every other kid after they saw Home Alone 2.
I had one, and then my sister got the talk girl, which was exactly the same.
I
except
had
pink.
something similar, but it wasn't brand Talk Boy. Yeah.
That didn't exist. They made it up, and then people were like, calling Mattel or whatever,
Yep.
trying to get this.
So they
and
made
they're
it.
like, oh,
Yep. There were a
Like
couple
the
of
Matrix
things like
phones.
that in
well, yeah.
in movies. Yeah.
Well, like people wanting to get the hoverboards, and then the Zemeckis, didn't he say in like a documentary, "Oh, these exist, but they're not legal here in the United States," or something like that, and everybody's like, "Oh."
Yeah, there was a whole rumor for a while that they had developed that technology, but they couldn't get it patented.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Why
that's
would you
true.
not be able to patent that?
Because it's too dangerous.
Oh.
There's
They
like
couldn't sell it to
and there's
kids.
a documentary on the DVD, where he
Well, there's,
does
like,
from the
hover
80s or whatever
tents.
that he should.
Like,
Yeah,
I
they
think
don't
the
sell
technology
them-
could
they
exist.
don't
It
sell
just
them
seems
big.
too
Not in a
dangerous.
board form. I don't think it could exist that.
I doubt very seriously if
It would be
Mattel was actually
stable.
developing.
I do think that they should sue the hoverboard company because those are not hoverboards.
Yeah.
Like, that's just... it's
Especially
just
because, like, there are things that independently people in their houses have made that are kind of hoverboards, but, like, they're really loud.
It's kind of like the jetpack thing.
Well,
like, jetpacks do, in fact, exist.
Yeah, they've existed.
There are
since the
working
60s.
jetpacks.
Yes.
They're just not anything
right,
you'd
but
really want to use.
But the rumor was that Mattel had, like, exactly that
Right.
product just as it was in Back
Right,
to
and
the
it's
Future 2.
labeled
There's
with Mattel
no
crap on it,
way there was a thing like that was that quiet and that worked as well as that did.
Right.
And, like, there's no way they developed that.
There is a fan film I watched years ago that is that premise, but for the lightsaber, which is that they made a working lightsaber and someone gets their hands on it, but it didn't get released because it's too dangerous.
That's a neat idea.
It is. I remember
Yeah,
liking
because it's
it.
a weapon.
Yeah, 'cause it's a weapon.
Was it like a little short film, or was it a full movie?
I think it was like a 20-minute thing.
That's a cool idea for a
Yeah.
short film.
I forget what it was called. It was a long time ago. If anyone, I feel like it was a more famous fan film. Like, I think there's 2 or 3 of them. So, like, if anyone in the comments knows, like, but yeah, that,
I guess that technically is a fan film if you're using a lightsaber, but is it like is it all like, more real worldy?
yes, except for the conceit that lightsabers.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah. I am surprised Joe Pesci came back for the sequel if he didn't want to do this
Me
one so
too.
much.
He
Yeah.
needed the money. I don't know.
No, he
I
didn't. He
don't
just did
think he did.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
He was a good film.
And
No, he's a
Casino's
big-
right around the corner.
He's a big deal right there. I've never seen
Yeah.
that.
Which
I've
one?
not seen Casino either. I've seen Goodfellas. I've not seen Casino.
I've seen Casino. It's okay.
Goodfellas I haven't seen since I was a kid.
Casino is
You
interesting
should
because
not have
of
seen it
the,
as a kid.
I shouldn't have, but I
It's
did.
like Wolf of Wall Street, just a
Casi-
little bit
Cas-
tamer.
I know.
Casino's interesting because it's like there's the Kansas City connection because that's where they laundered all their money from Vegas. Like they came to like a
really?
a grocery store in Kansas City and divided up all
And is
the
Casino based on a true story like
Yeah.
Goodfellas? Okay.
they
Interesting.
and the Irishman is also.
I have not watched that yet.
Yeah.
It's like 3.5 hours.
You guys,
I saw
this
it in the
was-
theater. Actually.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks a bunch for doing this.
Yeah.
with me. Really appreciate it. Like I said, Eric and I had meant to do this years ago before he moved here.
We were talking about how, because neither of us had rewatched it in years, we were talking about how haunting and like scary we remember it being. We're like, I wonder what that looks like as an adult now. It kind of looks how I remember it.
Does it?
Yeah.
I was going to ask
scary?
you what this experience was like for you. I mean, we talked over
I talked
it and
over
stuff,
it.
but
It's kind of exactly the movie I remember. Like, there's not a lot that I watched and I was like, oh, that's weird, or like that's softer than I remember it, or like that's weirder than I remember it,
like
or
there's
like
another layer to it or something.
Look,
There
it
are
says
no extra layers
look,
to this
it
movie.
says
That's
right
right.
there in the summary, Kevin McAllister is home alone.
in New York City.
Yeah, but he's not. He is at a hotel by himself.
Right, but the wet bandits, now the sticky bandits,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
also in the Big Apple.
Yeah, they might as well just that whole thing might as well just read coincidence, 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 coincidence.
How did they get out of jail?
They broke out.
Oh,
Did they break
broke
out?
out
Yeah,
of jail?
they escaped.
Oh.
There's a newspaper that so Kevin is looking at a newspaper that on the front of it says they escaped.
I think
I feel like
they are not big time enough to be front page
the
news.
scene of the scene of them escaping,
Especially
if
like in New York. And why are they in
Right.
New York? Because
Right.
that's not
That's not a
where
good-
they.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, they get in a truck and they go, but the only reason they're there is because he's there. And, yeah.
If they had filmed the scene of them escaping, I feel like it would be like the scene of Otis and Lex Luthor.
I thought that too.
that was really great.
That's
I feel like that's how it would have gone.
But no, I'm saying definitively the sequel for Home Alone should have been a Halloween movie. I'm putting that out there. The sequel should have been a Halloween movie.
It should have.
And you just have everyone go somewhere else. They don't have to abandon him this time. It's just he stays home. He doesn't go out and trick or treat for
think
some
the
reason.
reason-
And you have the bandits dressed up like Halloween things, or
I think the reason they did that is because the precedent with Christmas movies is if it becomes a franchise, it's going to be Christmas every time.
that's true. But Vacation does not do that.
That's true.
But it started out as not a Christmas thing.
Well, no, but what I mean is each one is kind of a different thing. Like,
right.
And
They're
I guess
all
Christmas Vacation
different.
is the exception because they don't go anywhere.
Yeah, all the other ones they go somewhere. I never saw.
I've never seen any of the other sequels. I've seen Vacation and Christmas Vacation. Never Vegas or
They're
one of the.
The European Vacation.
One of them is bad, and I just don't know which one it
Vegas
is.
Vacation's really bad.
Okay, Vegas Vacation.
And then I never saw the most recent one.
I didn't either.
And that sounds like a really easy thing to pull off.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like just doing that in Vegas.
A lot of Chevy Chase movies are like that too. Fletch is an amazing movie. I've never seen Fletch Lives. Everyone says it's awful.
Yeah, I've never
it
seen
seems like a very easy movie to
Yeah.
make a sequel to.
I just watched Christmas Vacation a lot because I was like, my mom really liked that movie, and we
My
watched
mother
it a lot.
also really likes that movie.
We watched it a lot as a kid.
Laughs
growing up.
hysterically
It's,
at the sled scene.
Yes, my mom liked the sled scene.
Is watching movies what your mom does when she's not putting up wallpaper for different holidays.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thanks again for watching or for listening and watching the movie with us. Hope you enjoyed it, and leave your comments and let us know what you think about Home Alone and if it holds up and stuff. And we'll see you again with more videos very shortly on Geekvolution. I was Captain Logan. This was Eric Holden.
Yeah, at this point, it would be a controversial opinion to be like, I think Home Alone's a bad movie.
It would.
Like, it is completely
true.
swung the other way. But I was there.
And this is Adam Meredith.
Yes.
Adam has nothing else to add.
Not
All right.
nothing else to say.
See you later, folks. Bye.